Even though this isn't a Plomeek tea time, this is a shore leave. So actually, I should be playing. Hello and welcome. This is shore leave number 6, and today I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary from my first live stream that I've ever had, and we're also talking about generally talking about some Star Trek technology that's been applied in real life, which there are many. And I'd like to also thank Bird of Prey 5 for hanging out.
Thank you so much. Hello, world. It's Bird of Prey 5. Kapla.
Kapla, indeed. So, Star Trek technology applied in real life is such an expansive topic that I suspect, I could probably have more than one part on this topic. I could talk about it again if I don't. I know I won't get to everything because there's so much other than just the most obvious ones that we're going to mention. And there's no way I can't even scratch the surface of it. So
obviously,
yeah,
cell phones, communicators,
right? Yes, and we'll
so
definitely
much medical technology.
yes.
Probably do something just on medicine, just on communications, but.
Right, you're exactly right. It's interesting you mentioned medicine because the topic for a live stream, this kind of live stream, was first discussed in my very first live stream that I had with Pop Culture Curator, which was about DeForest Kelley about a year ago on February 15th last year, 2002. And so this is around the first anniversary for my channel, if you consider my first live stream to be the beginning of my channel, which I do. I know I made an introduction video before that, but I hadn't really decided to launch anything until February.
I use my first live stream too as really my anniversary.
You do too? Okay,
oh my
great.
God.
That's how I feel. Hey, hello, Admiral Teak. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Remember this day. Keep it in your hearts always, as Merlin said in Excalibur. And you know what? I'm not dressed appropriate for a stream of this magnitude, so let me do the right thing.
Nice.
You deserve the Yankee hat.
Nice.
Thank you. That's great. Welcome, Admiral Teague.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you for trying to save Star Trek. That's always appreciated.
I will be trying to save it again later today with Scogli. I can't watch Picard alone. It's too upsetting.
It is a lot easier when you're talking to someone else about it, even if they have kind of a more positive outlook on the show.
Scogli is okay with the show. That's another reason that he's good to be there with me. He's
exactly.
Ready. He's ready to walk away from it, though. The thing I'm having a problem with is, and I don't want to name any names, but there's fans of Robert Meyer Burnett's are just coming after me and taking it personally. And there's people out there who just are making of this guy an imaginary friend. It's not okay to think that this show is going to be great just because he says so.
Well, I don't know. I'm not talking to people who are doing that.
I'm getting incoming on Twitter, but that's it for my problems. We're here.
Well, yeah, definitely, it's important to make your own judgment call by watching the television show yourself, or your own judgment call by not watching it, because that's your judgment call to not support it, and that's that is up to you too. And also another one, if you want to watch it but also not support it, which is what I'm doing.
You know what? If they do what Robert Meyer Burnett says, I'll support it. But right so far, and I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but so far, I see 5 active mystery boxes in episode 1. And I see more people being turned into deadbeat dads. So more of the same. And
there's more. There are more mysteries in the second one too.
And more deadbeat dads? Are there more deadbeat dads?
Yes. Wait. Yes. No, deadbeat mom.
Deadbeat parents, yeah.
Isn't that
Parents
great? I'm so
choosing,
I just got off the phone with my dad. Made sure to tell him that.
and beloved characters who always stood for honor, turning out to be just as
know,
dark and hollow as everyone else in the
Well, when you-
Kurtzman universe.
No,
When
that
I-
wasn't good to see either, Bird. I know what you're talking about.
forget the mechanics of it. When I saw our most optimistic character, and you could say Geordi is just as optimistic, but you can't win that contest with Bev from TNG. One heals the ship, one heals the crew. But Bev was our most optimistic character, and she's taking life willy-nilly. And then later on, they're remarking like, this was a particularly brutal tactic and vicious militaristic kill. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's incredibly strange how they decided to change her character so utterly and completely without any due course explanation.
And they
of
hammered it
that.
home. They
Right.
hammered us with that. They had to go back and look at the snot on the floor. It was like 3 cents worth of special effects too. They're like, a downward vaporization shot. It's like, so basically she JFK'd the first one.
Yeah, I guess the stun settings were broken on those particular weaponry. I don't know.
Also, we don't see the move they're talking about, which means that she initiated combat by ambushing these people. That's what they tell us.
Oh, I thought they invaded the ship, but I
see
don't
her
know.
running.
It's just a bunch of
Remember, that show doesn't have a
action
beginning.
scene. No, it doesn't.
We drop into something halfway through it, and she's in the middle of a fight. They're there, and her gun's like, you've shot everyone and have no ammo. And then she just goes and dodges a bunch of phaser fire that conveniently stops.
Not to mention making the excuse that, oh, it's been 20 years, so everybody's going to be 100% different.
Well, I know, and I know this much. I heard this one spoiler about episode 2, which has aired. I know that when I break down and accidentally have sex with a longtime friend, that makes me never want to speak to them ever again, especially if we have a child together and I hold them in high regard. That's just normal.
Normal. We've had absolutely no explanation as to why Beverly's doing whatever she's doing, going from the flagship doctor, the doctor for the flagship of the Federation, to a mercenary pirate. I have no fucking idea.
Oh, the internet explains
I don't
it.
think
I have an internet leak. What happened is she's a space doctor without borders, and we're all dumb because we didn't notice the Easter egg in there where the charity Mariposa, started by Starfleet, luminary Rios, in the past is on her cargo. So that was, if we didn't pay attention to Picard season 2, you wouldn't know about this. But Picard season 2, we were told, was wiped away. Hey, Tiger Stripes.
No, well, nobody. Yeah, it's not wiped away. This is Kurtzman Trek, and it's all meshed together, and it's all a thing. They're anybody saying that it's wiped away is just fooling themselves.
Can I ask you one question? In Wrath of Khan, how long did it take us from the moment David attacked Kirk to the moment everything was cleared up? And how many sentences did it take? What, like maybe 3
2
minutes? Yeah, 3 minutes and 2 sentences, right? Stayed away. That's what you wanted. All right, cool. People are allowed to do that. That was what they wanted.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess to be fair, she's kind of unconscious right now.
Oh, Bev? Yeah. I mean, you know what happened was she read the script.
Okay, yeah. No, it's the classic soap opera thing. Oh, she's in a coma, so we can't. Well, I know she's actually in stasis, but it's the same thing.
It's right out of Prometheus.
Instead of being straightforward.
Why are they borrowing shit from aliens? She couldn't put herself in the pattern buffer of the transporter, so it's more Star Trek.
Oh, right, because of oh my God, you got to bring up more filth, don't you?
They got to bring up. I'm sorry, I'm here in the presence of the great Bird of Prey 5, who I'm a fan of. So let me just
thank you.
Yield the floor. Sorry, I say the words Picard and I go on into a short pocket universe where I go insane.
It's difficult to not. It's difficult to not bring up Picard once the door is opened, but
yeah, they farted and left the room.
For anti-derivative Jill's sake, if this is about Star Trek technology.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I did want to give Admiral Teague a moment to be able to get a little bit of that out.
You gotta let it out or you'll
Yeah.
explode. So
Right. And that was a good exchange, I think. Thank you. And hello to I just want to say hello to the chat. The chat's here. We got Mega Cropper here. He says congratulations to the legend, one of the legends of the Trek community. I don't know. I've only been here a year, so we'll see what we'll see.
doesn't matter. You're a legend.
I have been called that before. And Bird of Prey 5 is also on the panel, says happy anniversary. And also before that, we had Tiger Stripes also congratulate me. So she was here earlier to say that. And hello to Lemon Pie. And Gorilla's Random Thought says, all right, comrades, we fight for Mother Russia. If we do our jobs right, we'll be drinking vodka in Kiev in 2 weeks. Oops, wrong 1 year anniversary. Oh, hey, what the heck? What?
Wow.
That's
What?
funny, though. That is funny. That is funny.
You tricked me. You tricked me, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Agonizer. Booth, now.
Oh, look, Pop's out there.
All right. That's great. Yeah, because Pop Culture and I, he helped me start this channel by being with me on my very first live stream about DeForest Kelly, which is really fun.
William Shatner said that DeForest Kelly got fan mail from someone who went to medical school because of him, and he went to the person's graduation.
Oh, I believe that. That is so incredible because DeForest Kelly really loved his fans, not just as fans, but as family. He never had his own children, so he considered them his children, especially when they used Star Trek as an inspiration to better their lives and to better other people's lives. He was extremely proud of that.
Yeah, so this must have been like right to his heart. A doctor helps a lot of people, right? And they have long careers.
Yes. And so whenever he signed something for a doctor, he would put from the real McCoy, REEL, like from the movie Real, to the real one, REAL.
Oh, he was a wordsmith.
Yes. Absolutely. Gotta love D.
So what's the first piece of Star Trek technology we want to talk about? Maybe the CAT scan? That was in Star Trek the Motion Picture before they had them.
Okay, I do want to go through the chat first, but
sure.
We can start with that.
Oh no.
Yeah, we can just look up random articles about that. I'm sure there's one for almost any kind of Star Trek technology. So, but Mega Copper wants to know about PvP. He has the link, so whenever he's available, he'll be around, I'm sure. And Janet from another planet. She's a galaxy girl.
According to Quartz, there are hypo sprays now too.
Oh yeah, hypo spray. Well, yeah. Well, actually, the first one was in the 70s, but I guess they stopped using that. But I guess they have a better one now.
I guess.
Well, that one's on my list, so we'll look up that one too. Hello to Philip Gaming and Padre. He's on his phone, but the tech question is interesting, especially with the military perspective. Yes, absolutely. That's like Bird of Prey 5 was saying, you can have whole live streams about different subsections of Star Trek technology, military, medical, and communications. Oh, there you are, Tiger Stripes.
Could you imagine if every real life cop had a phaser? No one would ever get killed anymore.
Well,
it was accidentally set to kill.
Right.
Whoopsie.
The one thing I want is a replicator.
Yeah, me too. But the closest thing we have is 3D printers.
I don't want replicated food. I'll tell you that.
But the thing is,
yeah,
there's no consequences to the things you replicate, right? Like synthahol. It's much like real alcohol, but its effects are easily dismissed.
Well, yeah, yes, in the future,
all the
Earth drugs have been addictions have been cured.
I might try Synthacrack if its effects are much like real crack, but easily dismissed.
Oh, And Tiger Stripe says Mandalorian is showing on ABC tonight on broadcast TV. Okay.
They're
There's a lot of
debuting
people
their
who like that.
season. They're debuting their first episode of their new season, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And I'll
Okay.
be complaining about Picard.
Yes. But I just read that for any Star Wars fans out there because I don't know what's going on there.
What have they got left?
And Philip Gaming says we might be getting closer to replicated food and meat. Yeah, no, that was one of the things I did want to talk about is that they do have kind of like a 3D food printer that you can change out different flavor profiles to it's really weird.
What does it
But
give you? A steakum?
Well, no, there's so many ones we can look at. I hope I don't forget. And hello to Hex Allen Comics. And hi, Pop Culture Curator. Matt G. Hey. And Janet from Another Planet says celebrity meat is cloned meat from a star. Like, I don't know what that means, but I wanted to read it. Tiger Stripe says, but Admiral Teague, don't you always feel insane? I thought that was your MO.
I am feeling insane.
You know,
I
based on
am
icon
insane.
and name and all.
I'm like the reverse
It
of
does- it
Riker
fits.
in that episode of TNG. I am insane.
Yeah. Oh, agonizer booth now. No, yeah, that is actually from Raquel Briggs from Clobber Times. That's that's what happens when somebody does something egregious on her show, and I just couldn't think of anything else, so I took it. And that is lovely about DeForest Kelly. And hello to Padre. I've never had you on my live stream before, I don't think.
Hello, ma'am. How are you doing?
Doing great. Hello.
So, just to kind of give a background, I'm a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. And so when we start talking some of the Star Trek stuff, especially like communications and weapons, I have some background in it. So that's the reason why I wanted to jump on the stream, because I'm still a nerd.
All right. That's great.
Did you ever command Pop Culture Curator?
Oh, good God, no.
Thank God for that, right?
I tried to stay away from anything responsible whatsoever, but they kept giving me rank anyway.
How'd
So-
you make Light Colonel shirking? I should have joined the Air Force.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I joined the Air Force, because you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a light colonel.
I finally made fake Admiral after 40 years of giving myself the test with permission to cheat.
Yeah, so like the communications bit, which is always interesting, you can actually take a radio signal and bounce it off the atmosphere. And so like when they do the whole communicator badge on the chest, basically what that means is they're doing there's a spectrum of radio waves, right? There's a spectrum of signals, everything from IR to sonar to infrared to HF, big fucking valleys and curved radio waves. And so that what's interesting is when they start doing this the Star Trek communication bit, they push the I believe button and they're like, oh, I'm like 300 light years away. And dude, do you know how hard that would be to send a signal like with the technology? Like you would have to make
it's only really supposed to be working on the ship or when they're in the landing party. But you're talking about the filth, right?
yeah
Come on, guys. My Nokia phone from 1991 still works. Maybe it's true.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, but it's interesting because you're looking at this and you're and again, everybody's kicking a dead horse about Picard season 3, but everybody's pushing this big I believe button, like, oh, we're just gonna start making shit up. Well, they were making shit up in the 60s and the 90s, granted, but people were like, hey, this is plausible.
Yeah, well, they seriously thought about it. They had science consultants in the room with them. They had people who had been in the military to corroborate certain things that could be possibilities, so that it could be closer to science fiction, further from science fantasy. But ever since after 2005, where Star Trek became more science fantasy than fiction.
Padre, I had never thought about the fact that she sent a short range communication all the way across the galaxy. But we've been so abused by this franchise. We saw Khan beam from one solar system to another part of the galaxy. Why do they have ships?
Don't know, dude. I don't know. Why not make them just drones? That's a question. When I showed up in Alaska for one of my second to last tour, one of the guys I was working with, he was a speechwriter for Sarah Palin. He was like, we should make AWACS, and that's the plane I flew on. He's like, we should make them all drones. I'm like, you realize that that's going to happen, right? I mean, the writing's on the wall.
So,
Yeah.
making a
AWACS
prediction
is
like
a big fucking radar dome that basically can see about 300 miles around itself. And that's the plane that I used to work on. And we talk to fighter jets and shoot bad people out of the sky and direct people to go kill people on the ground.
for those of our fans who might not know, my favorite movie, Independence Day, has a long AWAC sequence.
God. Yeah, if memory serves, and you're talking about the first one,
yes, there is no other Independence Day.
I think I remember that scene, and I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
And then you saw Brent Spinner, and you had to run to the bathroom and really throw up because he's over the top in that movie. But we love it. We love it. It's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
What did you think of the AWAC scene?
Oh, the best part is everybody thinks like, you have an air show, you'll have an AWAC sitting outside on the runway. And the longest line is always the guys that want to go hop on the AWACS to see what it looks like. Dude, your calculator, your calculator that you got from like True Value or fucking Walmart, it has more computing power than the fucking AWACS does in its computer banks. We're just now updating it to Windows 95.
Woohoo, Windows 95. That's right.
Your
Well, wait a
tax
minute.
dollars at work.
Why don't you just go to XP? That's better. I love Windows XP. Also,
It's too advanced now.
it's too advanced, I guess so. Also, I want to thank Matt G. He just tipped $1. Not Star Trek per se, but starring Shatner, the automatic doors from Airplane 2, where you have to say shh, shh to get in and out. Well,
Thank
no,
you,
that
Matt.
is Star Trek 2, though. Star Trek also had the automatic doors.
I think William Shatner saves Airplane 2.
It you can go anywhere with this topic. It's really quite expansive. And so it sounds like Admiral Teague wanted to start with CAT scans, so I don't want to forget that one.
No, you're in charge here. I just thought I'd, throw out
I
that
thought
idea.
it'd be fun. I thought it'd be fun to share.
We hadn't seen them yet when we see it in Star Trek: Star Trek: The Motion Picture. And through a trick of time travel, I went back and saw this movie as a 9-year-old, and it was really incredible to see it for the first time with all these people. And I'll just say that part, like, it seems kind of dull now. We were like all sort of fascinated with the effects in that movie when they were present.
Yeah.
But that
is pretty great.
That was the rollout of the CAT scan, and it was a cool way to sort of see Ilea, her figure.
Oh my goodness. And Matt G said, Matt G gave another $1. He says, it's annoying force fields aren't real yet. Also, Back to the Future Part 2 for some people became the definitive wish it was real depiction of the future because of the hoverboard. Yes, that's right. Because of the hoverboard. And so they sort of made a hoverboard, but it's really just like a skateboard, like a scooter without the handle thing. Sorry about that. But the reason it's interesting to talk about the CAT scan first is because in that first live stream that I had last year with Pop Culture Curator, since we were talking about McCoy, we were talking about medical technology that McCoy used. And so, yeah. But before we get to that one, actually, I think what I wanted to start talking about was the one that came up in my Spacey discussion last week. It was mentioned by also by Pop Culture Curator that a real tractor beam technology is being conjured up. And I took note of that. So I wanted to look at that one first. I remembered that Pop Culture mentioned it, and it makes sense that he mentioned it because it's news that's new this year. So it's not exactly new technology. We've had it on the micro scale for a while, but now that so now scientists are working on tractor beam in a smaller scale. So we can actually see them working. Since this is the beginning of this technique, it only works under certain conditions. So they get this laser to move an object. And the object moved was a type of graphene composite in a rarefied gaseous environment. And also, yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine this, and maybe Padre can give us some context. Are they saying that they basically traced in graphite dust using light? Is that what that sentence means?
Well, because of the rarefied gas, the atmospheric pressure in the experiment also had to be made to be lower than we have on Earth. And so I had to figure out what graphite composite is too, Admiralty. And it is a two-dimensional matrix of carbon atoms put together like a honeycomb. And I guess I could just show a video of it.
So if we're ever in space or on the moon and you're attacked by graphite composite, you can kill it with a laser.
Yes, you can do that.
Laser will destroy that. Wow.
Well, there's so if you're talking in a gaseous form, that means different densities, right? So if you have a thick density and a less density, if you can affect that density, you can bring something closer to you. Also, if you take a balloon and you rub it against your head, right, and you can stick it to a wall, and what that's basically doing is you're basically making the electrons and the protons, so a magnet. Basically, that's what's happening when you stick it to a wall. That's the very dumbed down version. So I'd be curious to see, because again, I'm not a science guy. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But I'd be curious to see how they made that happen and what all the materials were to make that happen.
Because me too. They didn't mention any magnets. They didn't mention magnets in this. Yeah, it is interesting, which is why I mentioned it. And
I'd be curious. You got a link that you can post?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Here.
I forget what they call them, but you know those things that look like light bulbs that have the black and the white sides to them, and they spin. Like if you put light
strobe
on
light? Strobe light?
No, it's supposed to show the fact that photons have mass or at least inertia, that they can push. They can push things, and so the white side pushes forward because it reflects more light than the black side, which absorbs, or vice versa. They sell them in science stores. Let me find out what it's called. It just seems like it might be that effect, because I see that's being held with a string, and one side's getting more photons than the other.
I apologize for my ignorance derailing this. I really, truly am struggling to comprehend it.
It's a light pulling force, it says. In previous studies, the light pulling force was too small to pull a macroscopic object. And with the new approach, the light pulling force has larger amplitude, 3 orders of times larger than the light pressure used to drive a solar cell.
Now, we don't want to encourage any of our listeners to go to the moon and start attacking the graphite components. That's wrong. That's wrong. Okay, they have just as much right for their honeycombed-like existence as we do.
It's called a Crookes radiometer.
A Crookes radiometer.
Yeah, if you've seen a picture of it, I mean, I could show it, but I'm sure people have seen it before. The point is, it's in a vacuum, so there's very little resistance. And
I'm looking at it now. Okay, I've seen these. Like, this is like a popular thing for your boss to have on his desk while he tells you that it's not personal, and that you can get paid right up to the end of the day. But of course, a decision has been made, and there's a box on your desk. This is what you look at when you hear that speech.
So if you put enough light on it, it starts spinning, just because the photons of light give it enough to overcome the very minimal friction.
Because we've given it a micro environment where the pressure is much lower, like on YouTube, where there's no pressure at all.
So it's pushing it, right? So it's
So
pushing.
that's pushing. So I'm guessing
That's
this other
more
thing is just the
repulsor.
opposite effect. Yeah, well,
I don't know
mean,
about
that's
repulsive, but certainly very shocking.
I mean, yeah, it's basically the light is coming out of the flashlight and pushing one side more than the other. So
So if you reverse
speeds
that,
up.
I mean, that's gonna pay dividends, like with FedEx and
Mhm.
cargo hauling.
I suppose
That's fun to look at.
I suppose one day they could possibly power like solar drones with it, but my God, if a cloud passes overhead, it's going to be raining Amazon all over the place.
Whatever
Well, I
falls
mean,
on my
if-
lawn, I keep.
If you can
Right.
like do the opposite of what I just saw in the video, the reason that's important from just a logistics standpoint is because your military depends on logistics. You know, getting your bullets, your people to point A to point B. If you get that to work in the opposite way, where you can move things a lot easier, like heavy shit, that's going to pay dividends in itself. And if you're going to be able to do it in a vacuum, like, I don't know, space, I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's exactly what they want it for, is for space applications for NASA, starting, I guess, with collecting Mars samples from Mars there. But it would culminate in what you're saying, manipulating vehicles and aircraft.
Yeah, easily. And then we get into shields. How do you stop that from affecting my F-22?
Laser force.
I want shields. I want a personal shield, like a Dragon Ball shield. It would free me up to be more like the person I am inside, rather than the shell I project to the world, which is muted by comparison.
I always got wrapped up around, like, if you watch Star Trek Enterprise, and I've said this before, it's my guilty pleasure, but they magnetize the hull, and I'm like, what exactly is that doing? Especially when you're dealing with like laser weapons and, like, I don't know, space torpedoes.
Padre, the term they used was polarizing.
Oh, polarize, you're right.
So I think it was a magical proto shield. Right? Like they just hadn't taken to calling it shields yet. And they were just only a little stronger than like their navigational shields, which they do say they have, I think, in Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, you have to for all the meteorites that you're potentially like avoiding.
Have I improved your appreciation of Enterprise 1%? Because I'm gonna start reviewing that show.
Oh yeah, I like Enterprise.
I like it.
Everyone's reviewing every other show. I'm gonna go and maybe Scogli will be my co-host on this, but we're gonna go review Enterprise.
And Bird of Prey 5 is actually having watch parties for Enterprise on Wednesdays.
I do have one thing I want to say to Pal. She doesn't need to wear, in one of the last episodes of season 4, or I think it's season 4, where she's on Vulcan and she says she doesn't need sunglasses because she has like 2 inner eyelids.
Yes.
And then
right,
you go to Picard's like season 1, and there's that one Romulan, which they're basically the same fucking creature, and she's wearing sunglasses. It's like, did you guys even pay attention to the fucking lore?
No, they didn't.
The sunglasses were to clue us in that Admiral O was not a Vulcan at all, but a Romulan.
Yeah, but they both progenited from the same planet.
Oh no, I agree.
They should both have the
I
same
agree.
island
I
thing.
say this with mockery. This was to show us, the audience, because we're so dumb, that Admiral O, and remember, they think that we can't tell people apart, so they throw these sunglasses on her just to give her a distinguishing characteristic. Because if you needed a scorecard to keep all the people straight in that moving parts complex Picard season 1.
Well, that's why everything's so dark, because
they're giving them too much credit. I'm sorry.
I want to know, like, what happened and what didn't. Tell me what happened and what the hell didn't. Why does Rios, who doesn't exist because he died before he was born, why is his ship still there? And the season was wiped away. And why is his charity important?
Not wiped away.
Why is his charity important to us understanding episode 1? Why does it make us dumb that we didn't catch the Mariposa charity? I hate the way they leak stuff that they forgot to say. You should have created this before, guys. It's called writing.
It's not wiped away. I'm just trying to forget it.
They say it's wiped away, and this is the second time they've said it. They've never been able to write an 11th episode.
It's bad when I look at Star Trek, movie number 6, Undiscovered Country, and Klingon blood is pink. And then they have in Deep Space Nine, pink Klingon blood is red. And I got the debrief comment that, hey, they did that for the PG rating. I'm like, okay, I can buy that. But when you start going through like all the little minutia shit, you start getting kind of frustrated that these guys that are writing aren't doing the research behind it. Because what was her name? You were on last night, Jill.
Riff Raffy?
No, RM Briggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she hops on, and this chick.
She's the best.
I was a closet nerd. Didn't come out of the closet, so to speak, with my Star Trek fandom because one, I did not know as much as that young lady knows, and two, I knew more than like the average idiot. And so I'm sitting there listening to this chick talk, and she's going off, and she's doing it well. Like if you want to talk about taking apart a country in about 10 minutes, I'm your guy. Like I know more than like 90% of the population on how to take apart a country, like just through air power. I'm watching this chick talk about like Star Trek, and I'm like, I'm thoroughly impressed. All you had to do was go to a Star Trek convention, grab one person randomly off the floor, and they would have been able to like look at whatever you wrote for Picard or any of these series, Discovery, and they could have shored up a lot of your fucking misconceptions easily.
Yes, Raquel Briggs is amazing. She knows Star Trek inside and out, and if you want to hear more from her, definitely subscribe to Clobberin Times, which is a channel that I've been inspired by quite a bit. And you can find her talking with Clobby on Thursdays and Saturdays. On Thursdays, they have a Clubhouse where they talk about all sorts of things. And on Saturday, they talk about Star Trek. Yeah. So right now they're reviewing Deep Space Nine. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Daniel's Hot Topics, you got a lot of background noise going on, but welcome here. And hello, welcome to Sci-Fi Nation. He also came in. Hello.
Hey, Sci-Fi.
Hey.
By the way,
hey,
I have to make a disclosure. I took the dive last night. I became a paid Clobby sub, and I bought 10,
Great.
I think 5 or so memberships for people because I love that show. It's so relaxing.
I agree. Yes.
And
Clobberin Times channel is so wonderful.
Briggs is a great contributor, and that New York accent doesn't make her sound any less smart now, does it?
She's Canadian.
Is she Canadian? Well, she's I thought she sounds like she's a New Yorker, but
well, you have to talk to her.
Maybe it's because she's so smart, but she knows her sociology. She's eminently qualified in that, and it's nice to see someone who's not ashamed to be educated up there saying, "Look, I studied this, and this is how you would really act in a Landru situation, or this is how I would really do this, or I stopped listening to you when you said you didn't like Star Trek."
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
Sick burn.
Yeah, no, that was pretty funny. But
that's a quote of Jon Stewart.
Yeah, right, when he was talking with JJ.
Yeah.
So, hey, Admiral T, you tipped me $4.20. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, you deserve it. Your podcast is one of my your show is one of my favorites, and it's gotten me through a lot of long days at work.
Well, I'm glad it could help. I'm glad you could actually be here instead of working today.
I saw a local celebrity yesterday. I'll just go real quick for people who want to know. I saw Dermot Mulroney, and he was walking his dog, and he was wearing a shearling coat, and he has a rat terrier, and that rat terrier had a matching shearling coat. So I just want to say, Dermot Mulroney, a lot of style.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I don't know who that is, but hello to DJ Ronnie G, and also talking about lasers pushing solar cells. It seems like that's a theme here. The lasers seem to be a key to a lot of the kind of technologies that are going to be moving things or making shieldings is lasers, because here it says UK BA Systems, a UK defense contractor, is working on shielding, I suppose, using deflect lasers aimed at the aircraft from ground weapons.
So I can talk about that.
You can?
Yeah.
So you know about this?
So yeah, there was a thing called an airborne laser, and it was basically a 737, basically a jumbo jet, and they put a laser in there, and basically the thought process was, if there was going to be a ballistic missile delivering nukes to the United States, they would have this thing airborne and it would shoot it down. The only problem is you only got 1 or 2 shots. The reason why that is because it was operating off, it was a chemical laser, right? So the chemical laser part is what shoots it down. It's not like Star Wars where you see the green or the red or whatever. It's basically you can't see it, but it basically sends a heat signature, and it overheats the missile to make it explode. When we start talking different kinds of lasers, like, the laser pointer that you sit in a briefing with, though, what they'll do is they have these lasers and they'll start shooting them at aircraft. And the reason they do that is to blind the pilot. And it actually does cause damage to their eyes. So if you look like in an F-16 or F-22 or even an F-15, you'll see that the cockpit kind of has a gold tinge to it. That gold tinge is basically there because, again, Americans aren't idiots. We're very good at war, whether people want to admit it or not. And that laser hits the gold tinge cockpit, and it deflects the laser to protect the pilot's eye so they don't lose control of the aircraft, because, one, that aircraft is worth millions of dollars, and your pilot also, because through training alone, is worth millions of dollars. We don't want to lose it.
Yeah, blind pilots, not so great. The NYPD is forever arresting people by LaGuardia for trying to blind pilots. We have some real lowlives in this world, but I wonder where they came from and why they're there.
So they started, I don't know about the airlines, but they started like in AWACS, because we don't have the gold tint, whatever. They started issuing our pilots. I was a back end guy. I was a guy that was talking to aircraft and making bad people go away. They started issuing the pilots like sunglasses to kind of protect their eyes. And I got tons of AWACS pilot buddies, and they would all freak out whenever somebody started pointing a laser and fucking like shining it around wherever to like keep it out of our eyes. I mean, it's an actual thing. So it's the laser technology is progressing. It's probably not it's not the Star Wars, Star Trek level yet, but I'd be curious to see it. But I don't think that you're ever going to get the green blue like in space thing.
So it's just going to be not visible, but it's going to be there.
Yeah. I think that's what's probably going to happen. And again, that's one of those where you need to go to what's her nuts, Beth Arstead, and there was another chick. There's a bunch of space people like work at NASA. They're the people that you would want to talk to about this with the technology wise, what's happening in the field. They know more.
Well, here it says that the technology won't be battlefield ready for another 50 years. So it's going to take some time, but it is fun to think about. Thank you for bringing your expert knowledge for that stuff. And James Caserta says he foresees VR hospitals. So, Grilla's random thoughts. I'm just going to go through the chat a little bit. Grilla's random thoughts. Admiral Teague says to you, maybe we all died a little in that Dominion War. Okay. And Janet from Another Planet says, red light therapy heals cells under the skin. And so that's a reference to advancements in dermal regeneration, which is something that I do bring up too. And hello to the Ginger Menace. She says, I'm glad to see you're still doing well in your chat. Hugs. Live stream. Yeah, no, in the chat too. No, you're exactly right in both accounts. Because I have a really great chat. And so Edge of Time.
Jill,
Yes. Hello.
my little brother wants to say hello to you.
Okay.
Here you go.
Wait,
One second.
Who's little brother? Oh, okay.
Here.
Oh, that's your little brother?
Call him my little brother.
Oh, hello.
Aw.
What's his name?
This is Coco.
Coco. Hey, Coco.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going? What do you know about Star Trek technology?
He likes to watch Star Trek with me.
There you go.
Yeah. But I liked the new Picard episodes. I thought they were awesome.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so all opinions are welcome here for that. And I am talking to people.
Are you against?
Who also
are you against like Worf
it?
killing people like that?
No, I'm not against the. Well, I mean
because that's what Klingons are supposed to be like.
Well, for the guards that were, for most of the guards, that was sort of reasonable, but the decapitation is where it goes overboard because you have Joseph Ferengi who's just standing there with this little bitty knife that looks like nothing, and he doesn't even look like he knows what he's going to do with it, and to just walk up and just decapitate him just seems like a very dishonorable thing that Worf would not do.
Wait, I'm gonna see a Worf without honor in an hour when Scogli joins. Oh my god! I'm gonna turn off my microphone and scream.
Ah!
Well, at least I prepared you for it. But anyway,
but you know what?
That's the film. And welcome to Pleasant Valley Picker, CA. Hey, how are you doing?
What's up, Ringo?
Late. I decided. Well, I didn't think I might get the invite right away, so I went and ran some errands. So I got a bit behind running errands. So sorry.
I'll be needing your help later if you're around, Ringo.
Okay.
That's my name for Pleasant Valley Picker. We decided that on the first Saving Star Trek Picard breakdown.
There's a girl on here.
Well, yeah, no, that's hello. Yes, this is my channel.
Oh no, that's right. You heard that? That was my brother. Sorry about that.
Oh, that was your actual little brother. Okay, so the Ginger Menace says she had a DVT and pulmonary embolism, so she's having some problems now. So she's going to a cardiologist. So I wish you luck, Ginger Menace.
Wow, yeah, good luck. Gee, that's serious.
Oh my God. What the heck did you do, Eugene Bird? Oh, that is
wow.
Too much. This is definitely the most that anybody's ever given me.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Congrats.
Unexpected.
Wow. Classy.
Wow, class move. Yes. Way to go, Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene Bird with $100 says you've been working.
You can move. No. Wait, okay.
I think you're okay.
Okay, so Eugene Bird says you've been working so hard on YouTube for entertainment. Happy for your success so far. We love you and your personality. Wishing for exponential growth in your popularity this year. Oh, thank you. And even if I don't get that, that's fine. This is more than I could ever hope for. That you guys are hanging out with me here, and we're talking about Star Trek in general. And I don't know why I never brought up this topic before, because it is a hell of a lot of fun just bouncing around talking about different technologies like you guys are most interested in.
My dentist told me that they could use a laser to make my teeth whiter. I don't think we could do that when Star Trek started.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't even think that was on the show. That wasn't even.
Well, talk about teleporting. I mean, teleportation. They've literally been able to teleport. Like, I want to say it was like a proton or an electron or an atom.
That's right.
And I mean, dude, if you can make that happen, I mean, one, the theory is you're basically walking into a suicide booth. But 2, if you can actually make that happen, how cool will that be?
We could. There's a way to test it. We could train a monkey, a sign language chimp, if you would. Then we could beam it, and if it ends up like The Fly, we know it was a fucking mistake. If we get like a pile of fleshy pizza, we know it was a mistake. But if the sign language chimp comes out and is like asks for like cashews, like fucking, that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. And we can send my ex-wife through next.
Poor chimp.
Ready for human testing. The former
Chimp.
Mrs. Admiral Teague would be the wonderful person to go through that.
Chimp pizza. I didn't think I'd ever hear that.
You heard it here first.
I'm
told you,
still
I'm
happy
insane.
about the ex-wife part. I'm like thinking of
Thank you.
for Jill's benefit, like all the guys that probably hit on her for being like a Star Trek nerd. Like we could like, hey, step into this booth.
I love Jill's mind. That's why I think she's so cool.
Jill's a sweetheart. She's also smart.
That's why we're all here, because hanging out with Jill is so much fun, because we always have interesting subjects and good conversations.
Well, yeah.
Oh, by the way,
you just brought one up.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Anniversary, Jill.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
As a new YouTuber too, you're an amazing supporter and enabler. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
we
welcome.
love you, Jill.
Yeah, I'm glad I can help bring the conversation to wherever we go, because right now you guys, you did just bring up the teleporters, and I do like that subject. So apparently this came from, I had heard about this lots of times from other people, but I never really read an article about it.
I don't think they're ever going to use that for practical application. Not for people. I don't think so.
Not
No.
yet.
No,
Well,
not
is
yet.
My ex-wife really about? I'll take that back.
Because if they did that, it would kill the person.
Suicide booth. Yeah, brought that
Yeah,
up.
that's definitely a
we should-
potentiality.
I heard this on Clobbering Times. We should only call them self-deletion booths. Because
Well,
the
you better-
YouTube hates the word that rhymes with glue.
Are you sure you heard that on Clobby's show? Because that's
think
something. That's something that.
Maybe everyone's saying it, not to say the word.
No, that's what.
Maybe I
Captain
didn't hear it on
Finity.
Clobbering.
Captain Finity says that.
Oh, I think he got, because Finity got it from me.
Oh, okay.
I told him not to do it because he just uses the word, and then I was just like, I heard we shouldn't do it. I think it was Quabby. I might be wrong.
The self-deletion thing has been going around a lot of channels lately.
Oh,
it seems.
right.
You know
I
what?
was using Suicide Booth because it came from Futurama. Just
And I
Well,
wish
in
they
that
had
case-
those here. I really do wish they had those here instead of just jumping off the bridge. Which is a drag.
In that case, that's just a one-way booth, and we first saw that in Armageddon, A Taste of Armageddon.
Yeah, what did they
Right.
call it? What did they call them in that episode, Joe? I can't remember now. offhand.
So they just called them their duty. They didn't name them, did they?
So they didn't even have a name for the chambers. Oh, okay.
Spock might call it a disintegration chamber
Yes,
Oh,
disintegration.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was it. Yeah.
because you couldn't say that on TV in 1966. That I'm pretty sure of.
yeah.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
have. I don't have
Disintegration Chamber. That was the episode where the two planets were at war with each other and everything was fought by computers, right? Okay.
Yep.
Right.
right. Yes,
I
that's
just want
right.
to say Vendikar was right, and they left that part out. The people on Armenia R7 were dicks. I would go to war with them. Listen, not only was Vendikar looking to destroy them, Scotty was ready to destroy all life on their planet.
Oh,
It's
that
great
was
to know that the Federation has a sore loser policy. If you kill our captain, we will absolutely kill everyone on your planet.
that was
Don't
awesome.
don't fuck with us. The Germans only killed 100 people for every one.
Well,
that
we never
we
knew for
killed.
sure whether or not Captain Kirk was bluffing on that or not.
He could have been making it up.
Nobody was stupid enough to fucking test him.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, he had the power to back up his threat, right?
He
The
did.
Yeah, I
Enterprise
think he-
absolutely
yeah.
could have destroyed that planet.
I think and then here's the thing: Scotty knew what he was talking about. He didn't say, "I'm going to come up with some fake codes and misnomers," unless we think he did. I think he was quoting a real Federation thing. They have a delete the planet if they fuck with us order. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Scotty was
Yes.
totally badass in that episode. I love Scotty's badass attitude. It was great.
Well, if you remember, what he says is he doesn't identify himself. He goes, "This is the commander of the USS Enterprise," which is just the most authoritative way to put it. Every city and all of your technology have been targeted and fed into our attack computer. In 90 minutes, we'll begin destroying your entire planet. You have that long to release the hostages. And he just hangs up.
Yeah, that's the General Order 24. Well played.
What
Admiral
can you imagine what the other 23 are like? And destroy all their water, set off all their volcanoes.
I do wonder though if it was kind of a Corbinite maneuver kind of situation, you know.
By the way, thank you. I've been working on Scotty since I was 6 years old.
That was pretty good, Scotty.
That was pretty good. That was good.
Thank you. You'll hear the imitations of all the cast members for all the shows, because when I do the reviews, I just read the captioning to you. And this is how we know that a lot of people scoff, and that's a very popular TV form of direction, because if you watch with the captions on, scoffs or scoffing is on the screen 6 times per episode every Disney, MCU, Star Wars, and Star Trek show. They don't trust us to read the expression where the person looks them off and steps back like they just heard bullshit. They have to put it up there, scoffs.
So to change the conversation a little bit and get back on Jill's topic, because I love Jill and she's awesome. Cloaking devices. Do you know that they have like no shit cloaks that will like take light and bend it around?
They do. The U.S. military was actually experimenting with armor that "quote unquote" would cloak you, because it had like sensors in it, and then it would like redirect the stuff somehow. It's really technical. I can't remember.
Are we talking about covering it with like a huge bunch of little tablets and having them just like a shield aircraft carrier?
No, it's a cloak. It's a no kidding cloak. It's like a material, and what it does is it takes the light that you're perceiving and it bends it around the object. So if you're wearing the cloak, it's basically doing a see-through effect.
They were working on that quite a few years ago, weren't they?
Yeah, like 10 years ago, I saw the article.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that a long time ago.
Yeah. There was a Chinese guy that basically copied what happened, and it was some dude from Washington came up with it, and this dude shows up in China, and China likes to copy our shit, i.e. steel. And so
That's
he was
surprising.
like, he was basically claiming he came up with it on his own. He did.
2000. Wow.
Can I just ask,
a long time ago.
what would we, the viewer, perceive? A distortion, or like it's like perfect? It's the Invisible Man.
No. You're going to see your eye movement, because
we'll see the predator.
We're predators, right? So humans are predators, and so whenever there's something that affects your peripheral vision, like a small movement, your eyes immediately cage in that direction. That's also the reason why, like, if you think somebody's watching you, chances are they are. I mean, we have those abilities built
all
into
the way
us.
back to H.G. Wells, he understood the idea of cloaking when he wrote The Invisible Man.
Yeah, what does he do?
The way he understood that the way to do it is that it has to do with bending light around the object.
That cloaking has been a military dream since militaries existed. I mean, who wouldn't want an invisible army, right?
Well, that's why we have camouflage.
Yeah, they'd be like the Jem'Hadar or something, right? If you had invisible soldiers, that would be really scary.
Everybody here has played Halo, right? Right. So you play Halo and you're fighting against the whatever the fuck the aliens are. And when they go invisible, you can still see a distortion of what they're doing. And with cloaking, at least in Star Trek, they base it like tracking a cloaked ship that can fire, Star Trek 6, off the heat signature. But also another way that they do it is the light distortion of the stars. So the stars, the little pins of light, move left or right a little bit, or up or down. So I mean that's it's not perfect, and I don't think you could ever get it perfect. If they do, that would be awesome. But it's going to be like our bones are going to be dust by that point.
And that point we will be invisible though, so like we'll get there.
Well, yeah, there's always going to be intermediary steps between the technology actually coming to fruition, and it's really neat to be on the forefront and seeing the baby steps of technology that could exist in a couple 152.
I plan to be here to see it. I'm going to be here in 50 years.
Well, this is why I want to talk about like this kind of stuff versus like SJW bullshit, because I want to talk about I want to talk about going to space. I want to talk about going to Mars. I want to talk about technology. This is the kind of shit that I want to talk about versus I'm a white Christian Republican male and I'm immediately the bad guy. Why am I wasting time on this stupid shit?
We don't need to. We don't need to.
Yeah, the
That's why
identity
this
politics is unfortunate in the filth track, really.
Yeah, and that's why this is the subject today, is because I knew that some of you guys would want to talk about the current Star Trek and all that other stuff, and that's okay too. But the main subject is futurism, and that's what Star Trek is about. And if you're watching a Star Trek show and you don't see any futurism, then you're not watching Star Trek.
You know, I think it was very, very wise of Gene Roddenberry to set the TOS in the 23rd century, because you know he was smart enough to realize that these advanced technologies he was coming up with, developing the series, were going to take probably centuries to actually come to any kind of reality, because they're so complex.
Well, yes, if you listen to him, he actually thinks that we're much further away from Star Trek than they portray in the show. It's going to take a lot longer than
But when he did his show, I mean, the communicator, right? Communicator, the flip phone. I mean, Motorola the guy who developed the Motorola literally said, I based it off Star Trek's communicator.
Yeah, I remember the flip phones. Flip phones are really cool looking.
and basically that's the whole reason. And I was in college, and this is in the late 90s. And I remember I had my phone and I was opening it up all the time, like Captain Kirk.
You had the Motorola Razr.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how many of those I flipped the top off of? Like I flipped it open and the top part just kept flying away. I broke like 5 of them trying to be like Captain Kirk. Oh, I was like trying so hard to get the Star Trek ringtones like Pop has too.
That would have been cool to have a flip phone with it chirped. Yeah.
But I mean, even James Doohan, the guy who played Scotty, he had people come up to him, just like DeForest Kelly. He had people coming up to him and he goes, "You know why I became an engineer? Star Trek." You had dudes becoming doctors and, I shit you not, fucking NASA engineers that were going up to these actors that were just basically trying to make ends meet. And they were showing up going, "Hey, you inspired me to make the shit that you were put on the TV and that I enjoyed for my childhood. I'm trying to make the world that you were acting in." And to me, I find that fascinating. And Jill's sitting there creating a channel where we're talking about all the technology. And I'm like, okay, I can come on here and talk about the military aspects, but holy crap, how much shit has Star Trek inspired people?
Yeah, exactly. And just like you mentioned, Martin Cooper led the team at Motorola that made the first handheld mobile phone. And in the 70s, you're exactly right. He says that watching Captain Kirk using his communicator on Star Trek inspired him to develop the handheld mobile phone. It took his team only 90 days to create the first portable cellular 800 megahertz phone prototype.
The brick.
Yeah, that brick.
Yeah, those are pretty big phones.
Right. There's a brick right there.
There it is.
It's Gordon Gekko's phone from Wall Street, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you get all these people that are that passionate where they're literally creating technology around their favorite sci-fi show. And then you go and piss on the grave of Gene Roddenberry by like doing a bunch of like non-canon shit where we don't even care if it's we care that you're not paying homage to the way
well, to be fair though,
good place.
To be fair though, I remember watching here on YouTube some like little documentaries where they had like in-car is more like in delivery truck style phones where they actually were in these trucks and they could make phone calls while on the road. So going back to the 50s and 60s is when Bell Labs were developing this stuff. So it was only a matter
Yes,
of time
absolutely.
until, you know, the technology came down, shrank down to a level where we could actually have it portable.
Yes,
Elvis
and
had one.
absolutely. When I'm talking about Star Trek inspiring technology, I realize that they didn't always come up with it, but they popularized it and they made it more inspiring to people to make it reality.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was like a future speculative electronics expo going on Star Trek at all times.
That's what I love about TOS so much, though, is it did inspire so many people to create so many fabulous things in the real world. I mean, it was like a sci-fi concept that actually became reality for a lot of people, in the sense that they went out and they actually built things based on the ideas that they'd gotten from watching the show.
Yeah, and since we don't really get that from Star Trek today, we have to look to other
Yeah.
science fiction. Well, we had to look to other science fiction like the Orville, but also that's why I had Raquel Briggs up here, because she writes science fiction. She has science fiction short stories that you can support through her Patreon here, and they're really great stories and really short, fun to read.
That chick got 3 marriage proposals on Doomcock last night.
That's not surprising. I
was
would marry her
impressed.
too.
You know,
I was also a little jealous. But I mean, think about it though. I mean, you know, TOS, Next Generation, those, just take those two alone. They have AI. You have Data, and you have the computer on the Enterprise. I mean,
yes.
So you have those two technologies that are now being starting to be realized now, and it's starting to freak people out, as it should.
Right, the whole Chat GPT thing that's been released as open source software for people to communicate with. Actually, I was actually really impressed by the poetry that came from it, that Bird of Prey 5 got from the Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's very
the art alone is impressive. But I mean, if you're going to look at, so here's your watermark, right? So this is the benchmark where you start judging things. When we start talking science fiction, it's like, you know, what new technology are you starting to inspire? The only thing that I've seen with like a lot of these different things is like, oh, well, Discovery, it's a different way to travel fast. Okay, so you're going from a diesel engine to clean engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that I've seen that's interesting is transferring a conscience to a synthetic body.
Yeah,
that's
right.
The only thing that I've seen.
And
that's yeah.
That's not new. That's TOS stuff.
Yeah, that's
right.
TOS stuff.
Well, that's for Roger Corby, right?
Right.
Basically.
We first see it in What Little Girls Are Made Of, when Roger Corby
and the thing is,
decides
just like
robots should rule the universe.
Just like,
and this is why I'm not a fucking hardcore Trekkie.
Just like in the Little Girls episode, though, the whole core of that episode really was, what is human when you transfer your consciousness, can you transfer your soul into a machine?
Right, and that's why the conclusion of the episode from Captain Kirk is that Roger Corby was never here.
But that invites speculation. What if Roger Corby had been okay? And we've seen that he was going to die no matter what, right? So and you don't die when you make the clone. Making a clone of yourself, an android of yourself, as they did in that episode, it has no harsh effects on you. Captain Kirk is unaffected by them making it, and they hive one off of him.
So it's obviously a copy.
Right. Well, that one's obvious, and he botches it on purpose. But I'm just saying, if you could make a non-self-deletional android of yourself, if Roger Corby hadn't been insane and already messed up, would that android have just worked out? Would it have been Soong type and therefore have drumhead rights? That's all I'm thinking.
Well, you got to realize, though, when Corby found that planet, those androids were already in existence. He just took the existing technology and using his knowledge and how smart he was in the field, put put himself into one of those bodies.
But he was really, really messed up to the point of about to die. So maybe if he had Roger Corby wasn't there because he was insane when he made it inside, was I think what Kirk is saying. That's my thought on that episode.
Oh, okay. You're saying because he was already messed up mentally and physically that he wasn't all there when he put himself in the body. Is that what you're saying?
It's like when I review Picard, garbage in, garbage out.
Well, it's
Yeah,
just that
but, I mean,
he
look-
wasn't Roger Corby, but he was his own being.
Right. He was his own being, but was Roger Corby alive in a meaningful way when he cloned himself, when he androided himself? That's all I'm asking.
Well, I mean,
And
look at the guy that made
No.
Data. I mean, God, I can't remember his name.
Dr. Soong.
Thank you. I mean, that dude was a fucking sociopath,
Yeah,
Well,
he was a little
yes,
bit
he
crazy.
absolutely was.
and he creates like Data, and then he creates Lore, and Lore isn't a sociopath. Lore is a psychopath, and you look at those things, and you're like, motherfucker. I mean, like, what point would you create something that you're creating something that has a soul? I would argue both of those guys have a soul. It's just those guys have a different set of ethics.
Yes, that culminates from The Measure of a Man, obviously, that episode where they consider whether Data has a right to his own
Well,
being.
that's the thing with Data, right? It's like, can a machine actually, if it becomes sentient, does it actually indeed have a soul? And this is like a question I think philosophers could argue about that for many, many years.
Let me ask my Alexa.
Centuries.
Oh my God!
If
I'm
you
so
want to
sorry.
see,
I do
go
want to talk about this subject, but Eugene Bird says coincidentally, I had a heart attack Monday, but they put a stent and I was
Wow.
out the next day. Incredible! They can fix you up quick. You get a heart catheter procedure. Oh,
Wow, I'm glad you're okay, man.
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you got to the hospital in time to have that done and
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah,
get
me
out the
too.
next day.
We salute you.
Anybody remember that scene in The Voyage Home where the dude's going by and he's on a gurney, and Leonard McCoy goes, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" He gets pissed off because he's like, "Here, take a couple of these pills."
oh no, that was a lady.
There's
Yeah,
a lady.
that was
Yeah.
a lady. You're right.
grew
I
her
love
kidneys
Kidney
that.
dialysis.
That
he grew,
is-
he grew her
Dialysis.
kidneys with a pill. He just happened to have the kidney regeneration pill.
Wait,
so
wait. Bird of Prey's gonna do a quote.
Dialysis. What is this? The Spanish Inquisition or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gives her the pills. It takes 2 of these and call me in the morning.
That's one of my favorite scenes. I remember seeing that when I was in 6th grade, and I remember seeing that, and I was just like, "Dude, that's hilarious." And
Little
nobody
later,
else got the joke, and I
was so
was
happy.
kind of disappointed that no one else laughed.
Doctor gave me a pill and I grew a new kidney. Doctor gave me a pill and I grew a new kidney.
Yeah, she was so excited, and I love that. I teared up during that scene before when I'm being.
Yeah. I love when
yeah,
McCoy
emotional.
is out. I love when McCoy is so outraged when when they go back and to our present, more current times, and he's like, this primitive medicine. He's just like totally just outraged.
Yeah,
You know,
look
when
at
he
him
shares his
versus
pain too.
look at him versus Dr. Pulaski. Dr. Pulaski, when the Enterprise was dealing with the after effects of downloading the Yamato's log, right, from the Iconium
yeah.
probe,
That was a good one.
and she was telling the sick bay nurse how to put a splint on. He's like, that's not practicing medicine. She's like, yes, it is. It's time-honored tradition of practicing medicine
Yeah,
with your heart and
contrast.
with your head.
Oh, and
contrast to McCoy. Yeah.
Cinema Gulp is here. He says happy anniversary. Hey, Cinema Gulp. And
Cinema Gulp.
Ginger Menace asks how to send money. Well, you don't have to, but if you really want to.
Link in description.
Yeah, the link is in the description, but I could put it in there for Mary if she's still around and wishes to do so.
I love when McCoy heals that woman in the hospital. I found it to be a fun laugh line too.
Yeah,
when
me too.
When they're leaving, she's like, "Miracle Man grew me a kidney," or whatever she says.
Mhm. And yeah,
A woman, I thought you walked in with a man. Oops.
She was referring to McCoy.
hmm
I did think with the new Star Trek that they did cast McCoy with the appropriate character. I thought he did a really good McCoy.
He saves that first movie from being completely a mess.
Yeah, Ginger Menace did figure it out.
Oh, cool.
She says, I love the Star Trek calendar you sent me for Christmas. Next year, I'll be on it. I was too sick this year. Oh.
Hope you feel better.
I do
really,
hope you feel
really
better.
Get better soon.
Definitely. We need you around. And Captain Finity is here. Don't drag my name into this, Teague, but I'm not sure really what he's referring to.
There's no problem. I'm just hailing him back. I have not responded to anything in any kind of aggressive way. I gave up getting angry for Lent.
Oh, that's 40 days. Do you think you can do it?
We're going to find out. I'm allowed to get angry on Sundays.
On Sundays.
Oh, just remember to watch 40 Days and 40 Nights. You'll be okay.
Yeah,
maybe I should only watch Picard on Sunday.
I try very much to not let anybody make me angry because I'm not going to give them that kind of control. So I can control my emotions.
Captain Finity says transporters are ridiculous space fantasy technology that will never exist.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be a long time if they ever.
Not with that attitude, it won't.
Yeah,
well, see that's why they did put in the Heisenberg compensator.
People
right?
said the same thing about
that fixes that problem. Yes, and the pattern buffer.
They said the same thing about what?
the sound barrier.
Right.
I was doing a sidebox speech.
What you said about it, though? I
They
mean,
said the sound barrier can never be broken.
before the Wright brothers, they said people would never fly. I remember when trains began, they were like, if people went over a certain mile per hour, they would die. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff people used to believe that was proven totally wrong when the technology advanced. So we're still in that continuum, right? I mean, we're going to have technology over the centuries that, if we were there, which we sadly won't be, but hundreds of years from now, there could be amazing technology. That
they thought that about the sound barrier, and Buzz
Yeah.
Aldrin broke that entire theory.
Should we start talking about the light barrier now too? Right?
Yeah.
Can that be broken?
Well,
That's
technically, warp speed has been mathematically proven. Alcubierre proved that.
Yes,
we want that.
Yes,
Wow.
theoretically, it has been speculated, but we don't have the amount of antimatter that the theory that he came up with would require to actually test the math.
Right. You need obnoxious amounts of exotic matter or antimatter, which we can produce antimatter here on Earth in the Large Hadron Collider, which
But
we
not
have.
very much.
No, it's only like a couple molecules, not even molecules. Like what's lower than a molecule? That's how much we produce.
Wow. Yeah,
but that's what we should be talking about. This is what we should be talking about. Not my politics, not my religion, not the color of my skin. We should be talking about this. We should be nerding the fuck out and talking about hey, how do we travel quicker than light? But we're not. Instead, we're worrying about borders. We're worrying about politics. We're worrying about religion.
Well, I just want to say,
I agree.
I'm Latino on the left side and Italian on the right side. And a lot of other people I see are Italian on the right side and Latino on the left side. And I disapprove of them.
And I'd like to say hello to Donnie Pearson in the chat. Donnie Pearson is a great artist and musician.
Hey, Donnie.
And he's more phenomenal. He likes Power Rangers. And hello to Dalek451. He says, "Hi, Jill. Sorry, I've not been around much lately. I've been very busy playing games on my new PlayStation 5. In particular, the first game I bought for it, Hogwarts Legacy, which I'm enjoying very much. Yeah, I've seen you streaming that, so that is pretty smart of you. That even if you're going to be stuck playing this game, like you're having so much fun, at least you're sharing it, and that's pretty cool. So thank you, Dalek.
Hi, Dalek.
And Gorilla's Random Thought says they sell TOS communicators. Yes. And so now I'm going to be trying to channel my Mark D with the C, enabling Wand Company. He showed me this, the Wand Company communicators. I think they're so cool. They have communicators and they have tricorders.
Holy crap. Yeah, and I'll get the $25 one. Thank you.
Yeah, no, these are if I were to get one, these are the kind I want because they're like from the show and they feel that you can use them
You can
like
use
a
it
Yeah,
as
real
like a
phone.
speakerphone. Yeah, you can carry it around. If you want to carry two phones, you can actually walk around with it. But what it's meant to be is like a desk speakerphone. If you want it to be, I have one. It's great.
You have one of these? Wow, that's great. That is really cool.
Yeah,
If we're
I'd have to
talking
save for
about what
like
I
10
think we're
years to
talking
afford it.
about,
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth compatible mobile phone.
Well, that explains the price then, at least.
Yeah, but it also has
Hmm.
17 authentic voice clips and original
yes,
original series communicator sounds.
It does look pretty nice, I gotta say.
Yes. Oh,
turn it
here's
on.
oh, you've got it right there.
Nice.
Way back in the 1990s, 1999, early 2000, I had a Palm Pilot. For those who don't remember, it was like a more or less a smartphone, but it wasn't a phone. And it had a pop-up screen like an old communicator.
If
And
you want
one
to
of
see
the-
one, it was on Seinfeld. If you want to see one,
One of the software things they had was a Star Trek tricorder app. And granted, it was black and white, but I got it. It had all the sounds, but the only sensor it had on the device was an infrared sensor, so it could like work as a TV remote control. But I used it. I loved it.
That
that
is
sounds
so
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
My nerd berries are getting excited right now.
Mhm. Well, I'd like both of those. You know, that the one Admiral Teague has and a remote control, universal remote control.
That's the phaser. I think.
Yeah.
I'll just say with this one, when it rings
Mm-hmm.
exactly with the sound effect from the show.
So
That's
the
awesome.
universal remote control is shaped like a phaser? Did I hear that right?
They do have a remote control.
So you
shaped
can
like a
you
phaser.
can like use it on your TV, and that seems appropriate because there's a lot of shows I'd like to phaser.
Oh, and the
Uh-oh.
and the
Uh-oh.
Ginger Menace says going to speak to Well Hung and Done at 1 or 1:15. He said he's calling, and that's Ginger Menace's. Oh wait, yeah, that's her boyfriend, or is that your husband? I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm a bad friend.
Did Admiral sound die on him? Yeah.
Oh, I guess I don't
Seemed
know.
like his microphone died or something.
I don't know. Admiral Teague, hailing Admiral Teague. Is everything all right on your spacecraft? I don't know. Well, I'm sure he'll make himself known if he comes back. Or
No, I'm here.
oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Because it looked like you were talking, but I couldn't hear anything you were saying for a second there.
I muted myself and I was talking to my assistant.
Okay.
My electronic assistant. I don't have an actual assistant yet.
And at some point we lost Daniel's Hot Topics. So thank you so much for being on Daniel's Hot Topics. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out and showing us your
unfortunately, Daniel does pop out without warning sometimes.
Yeah, that was without warning. But that's cool. And wow, I just have so many chats. I'm just trying to organize them and trying to figure out what to do. Ginger Menace says, I don't know if you could transfer your soul. I seriously doubt it. So maybe that doesn't make sense to me. But maybe scientists or sci-fi don't believe in a soul.
I absolutely believe in souls. Let me make that clear.
And sometimes they transpose the thought of a soul with the consciousness as what being one and the same. And so you're right that there's a bit of agnosticism going on sometimes.
There is, and there's a good movie about that. It's called The Beyond. If you haven't seen that, I recommend watching it. It's about there's a wormhole that opens up in near Earth space, and they figure out in order to survive the trip through it that they have to transplant human brains basically into
oh my god,
like current technology.
That's scary.
Robotic bodies. So they're not taking just the soul; they're taking the entire brain and putting it inside these basically cybernetic bodies, so they can make the trip and come back and let us know what they find over there.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
Fulci, whatever his name is. He's done some pretty outrageous horror flicks, hasn't he?
It's not a horror flick. It's just straight science
right.
fiction.
Okay.
This
The
looks like
poster-
horror
The
to
poster
me.
looked pretty horrific with the knife and everything
What?
there.
Maybe I'm looking at
Wrong
the wrong
film?
one.
Yeah, that's the wrong
movie.
one. No, this
Oh,
was
okay.
this
that
one's in
explains
the 2000s, like
Oh.
2020 or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
there you go.
2017.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. There's the right
Yeah,
one,
I
Joe.
was
I was like,
confused.
what's going on?
Doesn't it sound a little like electronic body snatching now?
Yeah, it is. Definitely. And so I'm trying to learn a little bit about this movie, but it's
It
a little bit
sounds pretty
difficult to
cool.
find.
Let's start the watch along.
Mhm.
The watch
Right,
together. Let's start it
exactly.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Yes, I got it now. There's 24 photos of it, so let's look at the photos because I might get in trouble with video.
And right there, go back to that first picture, Jill, if you can.
Sure. Tell us about this movie again.
Okay, so like the synopsis on it says, they find a wormhole in near Earth, like between Earth and Venus, so near Earth. And instead of risking humans to go through, because nobody's ever dealt with a wormhole before, they learn somehow that it's a wormhole because they can see something on the other side of it.
Right, and they don't want to risk their physical form.
Right. So they try experimenting with just robots and whatnot, but they're not working. Our technology isn't, up to that standard yet, obviously.
Right, the artificial intelligence just isn't there. That makes
Right.
sense.
Right. So what they do is they come up with a plan to transplant human brains into these basically cybernetic robot bodies. So it's the entire human brain being transplanted into this mechanical body.
So Spock's brain technology.
Right. But but using current technology or current like DARPA technology. DARPA is like 50 years ahead of what we all have. So
that was a unit my dad was in the Army.
Okay. What do they know?
Now go back. I want to show you something. You just missed it. One more. Right there. You see that? That is the robotic body. Now that is a like a cyborg type skin, but it's completely fake. It's like whatever we use for our best, like whatever type of fake skin. But behind that is the actual brain. Inside that helmet and that head is the actual human brain.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's pretty cool. And then they make the fake front look like the person whose brain is inside the robot.
Right. And one of the things that these people that are getting transplanted into these new cybernetic bodies or robotic bodies, however you want to say, I'm not sure if they're I call them cybernetic because you have an actual human brain in them. But everything else besides the brain is mechanical. So it's like basically your first cyborg, basically.
If only I had a brain I could donate and to be one of these things and go on forever.
Right. And one of the things they have to get used to is the fact that, they're going to feel like they're breathing because, they breathe for cooling, the internals of the body and all that.
Yeah. And then dealing with the psychological effects of knowing you're just a brain.
Right. Right. Getting over that, being strong enough mentally to overcome that.
Well, the one thing I question is, if you, in this case, you physically transfer your brain into the cyborg or whatever. But I mean, just the thought of even just transferring your mind somehow, like Roger Corby, into an artificial, device. I mean, isn't a big part of what makes us human is that we are physical, that we do breathe, we do need to eat, and we have sensations, and doesn't that contribute a lot to our thoughts,
right,
feelings, to our soul, if you will?
Right, and I get what you're saying, and to an extent, they do have a like liquid nutrient diet they have to have, because obviously the human brain still needs to be sustained.
Mm,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
just
they do
wonder-
have. It's like a RoboCop thing where they do have a liquid nutrient that they have to ingest, but it's liquid because of the fact that it's just the brain. They don't
Right.
need like physical whole food like we have.
Right.
What's their best case with this with this cyborg approach, that you will live
Oh.
forever? Because you
Oh.
can still get Alzheimer's.
Well, no, the brain is still going to age. The brain is still going to have whatever conditions a human brain is going to have.
Well, when you mentioned that drink that they have, that reminded me of The Cage, where the Telosians have this drink that
Oh yeah, the
you can make
glucose
it-
drink. Yeah.
yeah, it's nothing, but they can make it so that you think it's whatever you love, or whatever you want to be eating or drinking.
Well, that was because of their power of illusion, though.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but if you're just a brain, maybe you can influence that power also because of the imagination. I don't know.
There's
Yeah,
there's
and-
an Outer Limits episode on that one too.
and Dalek, I'm not saying it's a new idea. This is just one of the movies I found on it that really did a good job with it.
It's an interesting concept for sure. Like, yeah, definitely.
Well, we were talking about the whole Roger Corby thing, and I thought, well, this is a good movie that kind of portrays this same idea, but he puts it like more in modern day, like our time.
Right.
How would we deal with this in our time?
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. The search results still get mixed up with that horror movie.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know there was
Yeah.
another movie called that, so that's interesting.
Yeah, when I saw the image of that poster, I was like, "Wow, this looks really
Yeah.
I was like, this looks like nothing you're talking about, sci-fi.
Yeah,
So I was
that
getting
so
very
it's
confused.
That was
if you look
funny.
at the Beyond, it is from 2017, not 1981.
Yeah, but thank you. That was a very good. There was a very good pitch for that movie. I want to watch that now. That's cool.
Yeah, it looks intriguing.
I
for
like that
sure.
idea. And they actually have that idea in Fallout 4. If you play Fallout 4, they have some robots who have been
I haven't
implanted
yet, but
with
I have
brains.
I haven't yet, but I have the game on disc. So.
Yeah, that comes up. That very thing. It's really neat, and they have the same issues, but it's a lot creepier.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. I look forward to it.
Mhm. Oh, and Sean Carter says to the Ginger Menace, "Did you hear the little poem I wrote for you and Casey Osowski and Heather L? Wow, you wrote some poetry. Wow, that's pretty cool. Also, Big Daddy MRI is here. Hey,
Hey,
Big
Big Daddy.
Daddy. He says, just watched a video about warp drive. There are several mathematical ideas in physics that can make warp drive a reality straight from Star Trek. Thank you. Yes, we did mention that. And James Caserta says, what is a wheel without a wagon, though?
A boat or
I
a
think
raft, at least.
By that, they may mean that we don't have the materials that can make the transition to light speed, but we might develop
Exactly.
them. We might develop some impossibilium.
And Big Daddy MRI says, no, it needs negative energy for the math to work.
Well, right. That's what the
And
antimatter is for, is to create the
Happy
negative energy.
anniversary. Oh, and James Caserta brings up the other point. If we figure out warp drive, we've also figured out the warp bomb, and that's unfortunate.
Right. I was thinking the same thing about fusion. If we protect
Mhm.
fusion technology here on Earth, what's going to be the first thing they're going to do? They're going to weaponize it, right?
Yeah, that's the terrible part of it. It's gonna be like the 60s, 70s all over again, where people are worried about atomic weaponry, but
Oh,
now with
yeah.
fusion.
I can remember the paranoia back then of atomic war and the doomsday clock and all that stuff that people used to talk about.
Oh, they
What
still
they're
have the
making
doomsday
could be
clock.
perverted
Oh,
into
I
a
think we're-
horrible weapon.
I think we're still in danger of a nuclear war, given the wrong circumstances and the wrong people with the power to start one. But yeah, it's a scary idea.
But back
I've
to
got to
Yes.
drop off.
okay. Oh, right. You
Thank
got to
you
get
so
ready.
much.
Yes. You everybody make sure after this live stream to head over to Bird of Prey 5 channel to hang out with him for his bed life. He has like an incredible show.
Oh,
He does.
thank you.
Bad Life. That's a bird streamed by Bird or Prey.
I'm a
Yes.
big fan.
I
Yes,
appreciate it.
I am too. And
Yeah, I
please tell
enjoy
us
your
about your
channel,
channel.
Bird.
Oh, Bird of Prey 5 and doing Star Trek Picard reviews. Not been
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, you know what?
I'm not someone who loves this new season, but
Yeah.
I will give my honest opinion, and I'll just leave it at that.
I agree. Yeah, you know what?
I
Though
agree, Bird. I'm
you
not
may not
crazy
be
about it
enjoying it,
either.
but I am enjoying your reviews on it because you bring up points that I don't even think of. So thank you.
And I do some other Star Trek videos from time to time. So we do live streams and watch parties and all types of good stuff.
I will agree to disagree with you about season 3, but as always, hail Kuroga.
Absolutely. Hail Kuroga.
People will have a few different criticisms of Picard to
Hal
choose from.
Kuroga and Kapla, and so we are letting Bird of Prey 5 go. So
Thank
So,
you. I'll be listening for a while.
yes,
All I
yes,
can.
and I can't wait to hear your show. I will be ending my stream just as yours is beginning, so I'll be directing people over there.
Be safe if you're
Yes.
driving.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Yes, I
that's
will be
what I always
driving and
do.
listening. I always say that. It's true.
Okay. Take care, guys.
You too.
Bird.
See you later. Bye bye.
Now, Bird is from New York City.
Oh, I did
Yes.
not know that.
Yeah. Yes, that is true.
So I can meet Bird for drinks if I want.
If
Well, that's up to
if
Bird.
he
but-
wants.
Obviously, yes.
Well, yeah, if y'all are connected on Twitter, you can DM him.
We'll have anti-derivative JillCon right here in New York City.
that requires me to go to New York City. But
We could have you there virtually and just charge less money.
Oh right. Okay, so I could be like on a tablet on a robot rolling around.
We'd have you doing business like Palpatine, just like, shh, you have done well to come to my con.
It might take somebody like Jill to actually keep the crowd under control when it comes to, people meeting Bird.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, he needs some kind of bodyguard, so
He does.
We have holographic Elvis and holographic Prince. I'm just saying, holographic Jill. It's possible.
I mean, unless you want Mama Prey and Uncle Paulie out front, which I don't think you want that. They'd be packing some heat, yo.
well, there you go. That's what we need. I don't know if we want that though. So Bird hasn't been bought out yet. Well, he could never be bought out. He's a true Star Trek fan, straight from the heart, and that's why I enjoy his channel so much. And he knows so much about it that he can just go off on just any subject from it and spill into these incredible insights and rants, and he works so well. His brain.
It does. That's why.
amazing.
That's why I love talking with him about stuff. I mean, we might disagree on a few of the finer points, but yeah, he is just so knowledgeable when it comes to Trek.
I didn't realize he was doing season 3 reviews. I got to check those out because I would like to hear his thoughts.
Definitely listen to his reviews.
The whole season 3 Picard thing, it seems to have grown to be so complicated on YouTube because it seems like so many people have, a whole range of emotions and reactions from totally negative to totally positive to every, the gray area in between, which is kind of where I probably fall right now, as I didn't hate what I saw, but I certainly didn't love it either.
Right. So. That's about where Scotty is he gets very romantic with the characters, so he does like that, but he is right in the middle like that.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see the characters, the old crew together again, and I kind of did love the way Worf looked. Actually, I thought Worf looked pretty good.
But I look at it, and it's not Star Trek. We're in the Kurtzman Trek universe. There's no actual science fiction going on.
It's the writing, exactly, and the writing for this season 3, to me, is tenfold better at least than what it was season 1 and season 2.
I have my mic turned off, and I'm just screaming.
And so a lot of people are seeing that, seeing the positive of it, just because somebody's actually figured out how to write a basic.
I still have my issues.
Structure.
I still have my issues with some of the things a few things, but
I
just
compare
think
this to Andor. It's just less horrible. It's a
Yeah,
little
exactly.
bit. It's
Just
a little
because-
competent.
Yeah, just because they know how to tell a story that makes sense from one scene to the next, suddenly,
And-
yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
something that New Trek's never done before. So
Thank
Well,
you,
the thing-
people-
Thank you,
are
Amazon, for
excited
taking
about
away
it.
the writers who did that. Right, the people who wrote the self-contradicting dialogue are now the Rings of Power people. So it's still got all the same
Yeah.
problems. They just don't self-contradict in the same sentence as much.
right.
The thing is, I think that they set the bar so
They still do a
extremely
little bit. They
low.
did in the last
in
in the
season
last
one and
episode. You're
season
going to
two.
notice it.
They said my brain is going to
low
explode.
that it's gone up a bit, but it hasn't gone up to great levels by any means.
Skogly told me to get the breakables away from my TV when I watch it. He says it's really
Yeah,
stupid for
you're
a minute.
right.
Yeah, he says my brain will
A
explode.
minute. Okay, I thought it was not stupid for 1 minute. Big Daddy MRI
Oh my
says, I have
God.
to run. Fixing catfish for dinner and working in the kitchen. Congratulations again. Many more years to go. Love you.
absolutely congrats,
Yeah.
Jill. And I just want to know,
Thank you.
is it River Cat from the Wabash, or is it that fake catfish? I got to know.
Who
Oh.
broke the catfish that it needs to be fixed?
Yes, Big Daddy. If you're not gone yet, apparently Sci-Fi wants to know.
Is it real River Cat? That's what I want to know.
And Sean Carter says the people against season 3 are not saying the show is objectively bad. They just don't want to support Kurtz. Well, no, I'm saying the show is objectively well. I mean, like, I recognize that it has a plot and some things make sense, but also it's dystopic. We're still set in the Kurtzman universe, and there where there is no it's difficult to be optimistic in a show that is itself not optimistic when that is an important aspect to Star Trek. And I realize that there has been darkness in Star Trek before, but there's always been that background.
In episode 1, the
Exactly.
Federation is the problem on 3 occasions. They won't give these guys a runabout, and then they won't give them a shuttlecraft. They're admirals and a captain. Just give it to them. They haven't earned the same amount of transport that Scotty was just given.
Yeah, he got a shuttlecraft on loan from the Enterprise D.
I thought that
Everlone,
Scotty should have been
Everlone.
given a better ship.
He should
Like-
have at least
deserved a
been given a
runabout,
Janolan. They should have
Didn't-
at least given him an old Janolan class, right?
Mhm.
Or whatever class of
No, I
Janolan was
think-
that they found him on.
No, he loved their future tech. He was so fascinated by their new stuff, he couldn't stop reading up on it. He was going to be expert level in a couple more days.
Oh, he was going to. Yes. Yes, he
I-
was. He had all the
That
technical manuals.
That shuttlecraft will be going 30% faster than others in about a week. And and the only reason he got that is because they hadn't invented the runabouts for the show yet. That's a Deep Space Nine thing.
Well, yeah, that's one,
Remember what he
definitely.
told Jordy when Jordy said, "You can only have this valve open to so many percent." He's like, "Who
He
wrote the
wrote it.
manual?" Jordy said, or Jordy's like, "You can't do that." Blah blah blah. And
I
guys,
wrote
who do
that
you think wrote the
regulation.
manual? I did. As an engineer, you always leave room on
Thank
paper.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like every
you
time
leave a margin for error.
Kirk would say, "You got to have this done in X amount of time," and Scotty would say, "Oh, sure, no problem," because Scotty knew he could do it in less time.
How else do you think he could keep his reputation as a medical worker?
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if that's being totally honest with your commander, right? It's like, we can get out of here in 1 minute. We need to get out of here in 2 minutes. Captain, I need 3.
I like to make one point, if I
Oh,
may.
sure. But before you do, I do want to say hi to Apion. Am I saying that right?
Apion?
Apion.
Appion?
He says, "Hail, Jill! Congrats on your 1-year anniversary." And okay, now you may make your point.
So, if
Padre.
you're an admiral and you're a captain and you're going aboard a boat, I guarantee you're going to have about 30 staff officers that are following in your wake. And if you tell a captain to go do something, and he's going to go do it, and the fact that Picard walked in and this dude was already eating steak, that's a sign of disrespect.
That is
And that dude would have been shit canned within about 5 minutes.
Here's the thing. That robot has dubious privileges and rank. It's a 2-year-old replicant, and it's not Picard. So what the fuck does he care? Only
Yeah.
person there with any rank is Riker. There were only 2 people at that dinner.
All right.
But that's not the way the
two
Federation's going to
sides.
see it.
Right. So
That's
two sides
not
of it.
true. That's not true. He has rights to self-determination, but does not have the right to be Picard. That hasn't been talked about.
It
Well,
doesn't matter. Sentient androids have been proven to be sentient, and
But it
since
doesn't make
Picard
him an
is the actual
admiral.
person inside. It doesn't matter.
Prove it.
Androids are
Admiral
sentient.
shows up.
You
on
say
the-
I
They
don't
did
believe
prove
that.
it in The Measure of a Man.
Well,
they
they
didn't prove
proved
it in this show.
what they proved in The Measure of a Man is that the android has rights to his own existence, but just having the contention is just having the memories and experiences of Picard. Does that actually make
Does
you
not
Picard?
make
It makes
actually Picard.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's an
right.
AI
He's
ghost.
an AI.
So,
An
so
AI
what I wanna-
ghost with a robot body.
So what
Does
I want to
anybody-
showing up.
Does anybody think that was the biggest mistake they made when they created this Picard series? Was
Oh,
killing
God,
him
no.
off and turning him into a
No.
Jesus
robot?
Christ, no.
Creating the series was the biggest mistake.
No,
they made when
but I
they
mean, I
created the
think
series.
that was a major mistake, turning him into an artificial life form. Like,
They
they
said
should've
it was so he could be oppressed
It-
and wouldn't have to be a white male.
yeah, well, that's just a dumb idea. You know,
The very
that's
first
what I
mistake
think.
they made was tea Earl Grey decaf.
Yeah, that was the
Oh
first.
God, is he drinking decaf? See, I haven't watched the first two
He's
seasons.
100,000 years old. He needs caffeine. This man needs
Well,
a
he
Red
does
Bull
sound like
injection.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. The voice
to-
is. He sounds.
go-
he's like
to go back to your original
he
argument,
Sounds
there's-
like such an old guy.
To go back
You know,
to what
he
you're
sounds
talking
so
about.
Feeble.
Okay.
Right? Are you gonna go? We're
Wait,
going at
sci-fi.
Picard's
Sci-fi
ghost?
has something I want to hear.
Right.
Go
So
for it,
so
go
to
for
go
it.
back to what you were talking about, there's two sides of this. Okay. Side one is okay. Picard is retired. Android or not, he's retired. Does he still retain the privileges that rank entails?
Yes.
Well, as retired, yes, technically, yes.
Clancy said that he
Now-
has our admiral rank when we saw season 1, but that was wiped away, so we don't know.
Right. So he could be a captain at best, right? But
He could
either
be
way, he's
nothing.
still
He could be
another captain.
retired. He's 90.
He's retired, right? But it doesn't matter. You still retain that military rank inside military circles.
He could be a robot and just have a subroutine to blow up all Federation ships.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
He
Oh, did I
could.
say goodbye to Ginger Menace? Bye
The
bye.
first thing he does,
Bye-bye.
when he,
Menace.
the first thing Robot Picard does is say that murder is okay to Agnes. So let's remember, not very humane.
Well, the end of the
I'll
second
let you- I'll
episode.
let
I
you
just
remember
no.
all
I'm
that
going
for me.
back to the dinner conversation, the conversation you're having about at the dinner table. Okay.
I would scoff at Riker, New Trek version, and I would scoff at New Trek Robo Picard too. He was
But the
correct
thing
to think
is-
them that way.
But the thing is, when you see that scene, though, you don't see it. I didn't see it that way. I felt like they were making fun of all of the adventures from the Next Generation.
Yeah, they
That's-
were. They were
that's
making
because-
fun of it, and then what's his name? Styles wannabe was being a complete dick,
Mhm.
which
This-
would have brought him up on charges of conduct
he wasn't
unbecoming
being a
under
dick.
any circumstance.
He wasn't being a dick, in my opinion. And also, I'll
Yes,
just
he
say
was
this.
under
We,
military
we
law.
are seeing.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just say this. We're seeing here how watching New Trek destroys old Trek.
Well, the problem with old Trek
Not
is
for me.
It's not destroying it for me. But if you want to
you
go
know-
that
you
route,
know
the
Dividing
reason-
what?
and conquering.
You know what?
The
You're-
reason
you're-
it's destroying
you're
it for you-
contradicting lore.
No,
Well,
they're not.
yeah, that's
They've
but it's
always
not
had-
Star Trek, so you don't have to worry about it.
They've always had a uniform code of
That's the
justice
problem.
in Starfleet.
But this is not Star Trek, so what difference does it make? He's an evil robot who's okay with murder.
All right. Well, I'm not going to argue that point.
Well, the
Good,
thing is,
because
at the
he
end-
says it in the show. He says
at
it's
the-
okay to
No,
kill
I mean,
Maddox.
Okay,
if you
so
wanna
I'm
argue
gonna-
on the merits of the show, then I'm fine.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sorry,
He
Joe.
obviously
No,
does
About
that's
have
that
that's
Star
okay,
Trek
that's okay.
future
I've got-
technology.
I've got some comments here. So Philip Gaming wants to get his hands on some transparent aluminum, and that is something that I had here in my notes.
Does it
Aren't-
exist?
Aren't we
Yeah.
working on that? I thought
Yeah, we
we
have
were
it.
pretty close to it.
We
Yeah.
have
We have.
it?
Well,
That's
yeah,
so
well,
fucking awesome.
maybe not exactly like it is on Star Trek, but we do have transparent aluminum, which is of course the technology that Scotty shares with the 20th century
It's going to take
scientists.
years just to decode this.
Well, that proves that the movie's a documentary then.
Yeah, exactly, and the plausibility of it, what they do to build a tank to hold those whales in the Klingon ship is wild enough. But the transparent aluminum is real.
Oh, they use 6 inches of plexiglass, 6-inch thick plexiglass.
Right, it's hockey glass at that time was the prop, but what she's saying is we actually have transparent aluminum now, which is amazing.
Right. No, I heard that.
Yeah,
I
it's
heard
called
about that a while back. Yeah.
yeah, it's called aluminum oxynitride, and actually it was patented in 1986, the same year that A Voyage Home was released. So it's
Wow.
what it is transparent ceramic, and it's 4 times as strong as regular glass.
More proof that they were here, and
Yeah.
you know that away mission obviously saved us from the eugenics war.
Apparently, but the only reason we don't really use it is because it's so costly to create.
And also, food would go bad and beer would go bad in transparent aluminum things. Like bottles are opaque for a reason.
Right.
Really?
And
Soda bottles aren't.
Right, but they have a huge label and they're kept in a box until they're on display.
And in 2009, scientists made pure transparent aluminum. So there you go. That
is awesome, Jill. That's
that
awesome.
is, isn't it?
Can you link that article somewhere, please?
Oh, I wish I could. I didn't seem to save it, so I'll have to look it up again.
All right,
Sorry.
yeah.
I,
That's fine, that's
I
fine.
would have.
That's
I
awesome.
would have
Always-
done that.
Always put a link for it in the next live stream, Jill.
Yeah, definitely. And Tiger Stripes, way earlier in the chat.
Hey,
Said,
Tiger Stripes.
yeah, the piece of Trek tech that became real that most impresses me is the automatic door.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
first-
those. I remember those. But actually, they came in real soon. And I think almost when Trek was on, I remember sliding doors like in the early 70s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
At least
Yeah,
in my town, there were some.
there were a few, right? Because they had like a radio sensor like everybody's lights have now outside their house.
Yeah, well, my mom worked at Safeway, which was a grocery chain up here, right? And so I used to go and visit her when she was at work, and they had self-opening doors. I mean, it was
Right.
pretty amazing, like in 1970,
I
72 or
think they
whatever
were
it was.
triggered by
I'm-
stepping on the mat, right? You stepped on the mat and that caused
Yeah,
the
there's
door to
something to do
open.
with the mat. And the
Yeah,
door
there
would
was
open.
a pressure sensor underneath from
Exactly,
the
yeah,
outside
yeah.
mat.
That's
those
it.
were
Yeah,
step-o-matics.
it was pretty cool.
I
Well,
laugh
what a
at the fact that you
supermarket.
say up here.
Well, I am in Canada.
Oh, I didn't know they had them way up. I know that like a down south.
Yeah,
thing.
we actually do have technology up here, amazingly.
No, the fact that
Now
you had
you're
a
lying.
the fact you had a Safeway, that's like a down south thing here.
Oh,
like
we got
Piggly Wiggly.
Safeway used to be a huge chain here. In fact, there's still one in town here, and I think there's still quite a few Safeway stores.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I guess it is in the States too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down south. I'm in central Michigan, but we don't.
Oh
have
wow,
it.
you're a long ways away then, because I'm out in the west. Out near
How
the west
about them
coast.
tigers?
So Tiger Stripe says the first Trek book says they got letters all the time from disabled people asking where they could find the automatic sliding doors, and they had to reply that they didn't exist. Now they're everywhere, and yes, we've had automatic sliding doors for a long time since Star Trek. And
60s or
Yeah.
70s. Star Trek did inspire that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the early 70s when I first saw them.
And I also saw them on The Prisoner, and so they've been on other sci-fi. So
True,
and
true.
and this
I remember
article
The
here
Prisoner,
says, so even though we've had these sliding doors for a while, this article says automatic sliding doors are idiots. They're functional, and it's time we fix that. So I guess now they're working on making artificial intelligence for the sliding doors.
Oh,
I don't
wait
know.
till you run into one that's got like a mud stain on part of the eye sensor. Yeah,
I think a wind chamber when you walk through, and then the sliding doors is probably the future because they're not going to save a lot of AC, which was what they were intended to do.
yeah, and considering at the time when they came out, like I noticed, like a lot of the like overhead heating furnaces were like inside the sliding door area,
And
that's
that would
before
make the doors open.
We have
and that was before they added the inner sliding doors.
we have the double doors here. There's an outer sliding door and an inner sliding door when you go into a store here.
In New York, we have inner
I
sliding
think it's
doors.
probably
but
due to the climate.
we tend to ignore them much like you ignore your appendix.
Yeah.
You don't
So
you don't even think about them after a while. Yeah.
a smart sliding door is apparently going to observe the position, speed, and the number of people who are walking so that it opens only for the people who are trying to walk through it rather than just randomly opening. Um,
I like that, but otherwise, it's about as smart as a Star Trek door is. It's
The
Yeah.
revolving door is actually a better door.
You know, I think the best sliding door sound effect is from TOS because you could hear the device inside the wall slowing the door down when it got close to being open all the way or
Agreed.
shut all the way.
They had great sound effects on that show.
Yeah, I love the sound effects on TOS.
and I don't know if I've seen Shield Wall of Dragons on my channel before, but thank you so much for making a comment here. Shield
never
Wall
seen-
says,
Never seen them before.
yeah, me neither. Hello, the replicator would fundamentally change the world. Yeah, it would.
Yes, it
and
would.
I spoke about that earlier for a minute.
And you know what? What I think is really neat about the Orville is so Star Trek made First Contact and the Flight of the Phoenix what opened the doors to humanity in the future, but the Orville made it so that it was the matter replicator. They call it something else in the Orville. I've already forgotten the diction.
Yeah. They have replicators, though. I forget
Yeah.
what they call it.
Did
They
they
just
actually use
say
the
computer.
technical terms matter energy
Synthesizer.
synthesizer? Yeah.
I think
They
it's
use-
synthesizer.
They use quantum as the code word for warp. You'll get the code words in like 2 episodes.
Hmm. And so in
quantum,
the
yeah.
Orville.
Quantum,
Yes.
I think you're right.
It's a great show.
It is. It is. I really enjoy it. Even if I don't like season 3 as much as 1 and 2.
I want
it's good.
Orville. I want the Orville the motion picture. It's time.
I
Yeah.
think you did have that. It was called Galaxy Quest. Now, if they would just take Orville and Galaxy Quest and tie those together, that would be awesome.
Oh,
Not enough.
Galaxy Quest is so good.
So
a
many
great-
of the
I love that
cast
film.
members have passed away, though.
I know.
Have they
Right.
really?
Yeah, well, we don't have Alan Rickman, and he stole the scene in every scene he was in.
Yes, he
Galaxy Quest.
did.
We've
He
got
was the
Tim
guy
Allen. We've
Playing
got
the Spock
Sigourney.
character, was he?
Yeah, he
yes.
was there, Spock / McCoy. He was a doctor,
He was
right?
hilarious.
He was
Also
the
super smart.
the alien that had the full head
Yeah,
mask thing on.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he
he
was
had
awesome.
to keep delivering his tagline, and he resented it, and it was just a little too long too. It's like by the lights of Zanzibar.
or whatever. Yeah.
Oh,
Said
yeah.
it so
Oh, so good.
soullessly. Only the great Alan Rickman could act like an actor who's weary of acting and make us believe it, because he's portraying he's an actor playing an
Yeah.
actor, which is like a trap, they say.
That's
By
true.
Graf
That's so
Dark
true.
But
Hammer.
I'll give him this. At least by the end of that movie, he actually got into it for the aliens, right?
Yes.
True. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so does Monk. He's into it
And-
too for the
and
week.
that is the most beautiful scene when he realizes he has such a true fan in that alien, and
Well,
that is
yeah.
really special to
Yeah, the
him.
aliens were really
Are-
kind of sweet, weren't they? They were cool.
Aren't what they saying like that when the fans and when Galaxy Quest came out, there was nothing but good relationships between the fans and the Trek people. Wasn't it sort of a celebration of the fans, because the aliens they help, like, they never waver in their belief of the Galaxy Quest heroes.
Right, because they had watched it through Earth's over-the-air transmissions, and they thought that's what Earth was actually like. So,
Yeah,
And they were
they
the
were-
ultimate nerds. It was
They
their
were
religion.
basically the
Right.
aliens were fans too, right? Just like the
They
fans
were.
here on Earth.
Yes, that's why it's such a great movie, is because it portrays the fans in such a realistic manner, even in the form of the aliens in the movie.
Yeah.
Do
totally
they do
got it
this
right.
before
They-
Futurama did it?
They got it so right.
I
guess.
believe it was. Oh, that's
Yes,
hard to
it's
answer.
definitely-
Right? Because
Yeah, what-
It's
Omicron
different.
Persei 8 is the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Because they, we're watching Earth TV broadcasts.
Yeah, they're super fans of everything.
Totally.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I do have a live stream all about Galaxy Quest if anybody wants to.
Okay, so
with Scotty.
let's save that for that live stream.
Okay, so sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. No,
I
you
didn't know
have
either.
more
Hey, back
no,
to
that's
that
okay.
Star
You can
Trek
talk-
technology, right?
No. I was stopping myself because I could talk about Galaxy Quest forever.
Oh, so could I. I'll stop myself too.
What's the next
Yeah,
thing
it's
you
a
got
great
on your we got transparent aluminum was the last thing.
Right,
Anything
right.
else? And Shield
Have you
Wall
guys
Dragons
talked
is
about
just
warp
right.
drives
They're
yet?
just right. I would
Mhm.
get Synthahol all day and Synthacrack all day.
Synthahol. Who wants that fake stuff? That's like drinking alcohol-free Heineken.
That's why I get Syntha crack. It's much like regular crack, but its effects are easily
But
dismissed.
without the side effects.
Right.
The tricorder.
Or the addiction, which, again, why doesn't Rafi go over to her replicator and be like, give me Suboxone?
Suboxone. Yeah, for real.
Whatever it is she needs to get off spider weed, which is space drugs.
Mhm.
And then this latest episode where the Ferengi says, if you're really not Section 31, you'll take a hit.
Yeah.
So
Ah.
even though we don't have replicators yet, we are working on 3D food printers, which is, I don't know who
What?
wants to eat.
What?
Oh yeah, yeah,
What?
that's been a thing for a few years now. 3D printed food.
I've seen this shit.
Okay,
I've
this
seen
is
the one
just-
that makes steakums.
This is bizarre.
Yes, exactly. And what I guess, how do they even do it?
Well, it's they use organic material, and it's supposed what it's supposed to do is be for space flight because
Oh my.
how many kilograms or grams of food do we have to take with us on each space flight, right? So
I
if you can
think-
just put a 3D printer on there with the basic stuff for printing the food. I'm not saying it's going to taste good. It might taste like a
You know
like
what?
like a dry rice cake. or
You
something.
know
It's
what
not-
might taste good is this one that I'm getting totally distracted by. I think I need a chocolate 3D printer.
Hey, there you go. Right there. Look at that. It's even got the chocolate beans in it, Jill.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, they're so
they only
expensive.
cost at least $2,000 or whatever there. Yeah, go for it, Jill.
All right, okay. So I got to start a savings account.
Ooh, and we have a
Maybe you'll-
quarter of 100 likes.
You can get the
Maybe you-
deluxe version for
Wow.
5,700.
Maybe you'll get some, more super chats and you can save those up and buy one. Now.
That's right. Save all those super chats. Don't use them for anything
That's
else.
right.
Keep
Put
them
'em
in a
in-
Oh my God.
shoebox. In a
Put it
shoebox.
in the chocolate
Or-
printer fund.
Or Jill can start a GoFundMe for a 3D chocolate printer. I would support
Right.
that.
Look at these.
Wow, that
shapes.
is cool. That is cool though. But how would you eat that?
Computer steak, non-fattening.
Jupiter
Yeah.
$6,990.
I think
Okay.
I prefer my chocolate in a bar shape. or
Yeah,
something.
apparently they print really slowly and they're not scalable, so they're not being mass produced yet. But they are the best option for low volume, detailed, customized chocolates.
So this
if
is
you
more
want
like
the
a
decorative
uh,
features on top of the
yeah.
cake.
It's more like a gift kind of novelty thing. It looks.
Yeah, if you got a few $1,000s to blow.
Well, no,
Yeah,
if you're
so-
making a wedding cake, you could put literally anything in top of it now with a chocolate. It's a condiment
go.
on wedding cake garnish maker, in my opinion. Call me crazy.
You could print out like a 3D
No, you're right.
phaser or something and put it on top of the wedding
Because
cake.
it's not making a satisfying snack in itself, but you could make, like, say, someone's retiring from the aviation industry. You could make like a plane and put it on the cake made of chocolate, and it would look perfect. And you could just eat it later. But it wouldn't.
There you
I'm
go.
already retired. I don't need a retirement party.
Padre, we're going to press you back into service reviewing war movies.
There you go.
Can we talk about tricorders?
Yes, we can talk
Yeah,
about
that'd be cool.
tricorders. Actually,
Yes,
I
I
have
mean-
something about tricorders here.
Our phones are
Seriously,
almost
I mean,
there.
think about it for a second. Like, we got people that want socialized healthcare. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but you have like a fucking box that's basically something that you get shipped through FedEx, and you basically turn it on and you wave it and you go, "Hey, you got AIDS."
Yeah,
How
and
cool is that?
that's actually something that the X Prize set out as a competition, and somebody actually they actually won it. So
Yeah,
That
but
woman is
that one
going-
actually relied on like actual blood tests and stuff, not waving something in front of you.
Are we talking
Yeah.
about Theranos? Isn't that what Theranos got in trouble for? Saying that you could diagnose stuff with your phone?
well, what it is I guess I need to look a little bit more into it, but
It
there
hooks
was
up
a
to your phone? Is that
$2.5
what it is?
million prize that went to the Final Frontier medical devices, and they included 4 of the people who worked on this were Star Trek fans. And I guess this is the DXER diagnostic device. And what it did was it was able to diagnose 34 conditions and could probably do more if there wasn't a weight limit. I guess, like as you said, they do use it. It isn't just waving something in front of you like the real tricorder.
Right. That you can do real medical advancements.
Well,
I'm saying that woman lied. This
that
is
image-
cool, and this is real.
That image, though, you're showing right now, Jill, that looks like a pretty bulky machine, not little.
That looks like a heck of a table for Monopoly. Right?
And
The
are
cell
those
phone
like-
is just giving you
are
the
those-
readout.
Are those like blood testing kits and stuff on all the drawers coming out of the sides there?
No, I can see some of it is an EKG meter, and one of them you put your fingers on to get your blood pressure reading.
Let's see.
Yeah,
blood
well,
pressure.
They
and
do that now when I go get my blood pressure checked. They
Yeah,
put a
I
thing on
was
my
just in the
finger.
hospital for 3 days a couple weeks ago, and that thing that clamps on your
Sorry.
finger.
Yeah.
they
So
stick that
there's-
on you.
Yeah, they
There's-
always clamp it on your finger when they're checking.
There's
your
an
blood
app
pressure now.
that you can take, and you can take a snapshot of your like dog, right? And basically you send it to the app machine, and it goes to some vet, and they sit there and they diagnose what's wrong with your dog. So
Yeah,
that's
that's the
technology that-
idea. You're exactly right. Please continue.
So that's the technology that exists right now. Now imagine if you take the doctor, you delete the doctor, and you insert an AI. That's a fucking tricorder.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Tricorder
That's-
should be a tool, not replace a doctor.
Well, yeah, that's what this device does that won the contest. It uses artificial intelligence based on knowledge from
What's-
about the ice maker.
What's next? Holographic doctors?
Based
I
on
consider-
patient questionnaires.
I consider my smartphone to be a tricorder. It tells me the wind speed, temperature, barometer. It tells me my position, and it allows me to communicate and records things and makes videos.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
it's got more computing power than most of the military did just 10 years ago.
More than they had to go
Make
to
sure
the moon.
you say AWACS.
It pretty much
Yeah.
is a tricorder,
They-
isn't it? Really?
They went to the moon with slide rules and adding machines, people. It's
Yes, they
just
did.
about being correct in your assessment, not how flashy it is. But still, this Star Trek tech is
Oh.
amazing stuff.
Hey,
But, I mean,
and
seriously.
also, guess what? PvP. This thing takes. It has a blood sensor in it that measures glucose levels without taking any blood from you.
What? How do you
That's,
measure that without taking blood?
A little hard to believe, Jill.
I don't know. They said proprietary, so they
You know, Jill,
they didn't.
What does it do? Swab your
explain
cheek?
it.
I just
So-
want to say this is really hitting home because I went and had a lot of blood tests. I had a lot of medical tests done about 3 months ago because I figured at my age I hadn't, had any done in a decade. So I went and got the whole gamut of tests done. Everything came back good, of course.
That's good.
Thank goodness. Yeah, everything was fine, But I don't think I'd trust something if they weren't taking some blood. and
Well,
actually
no, I'm
running
not
it.
saying that we need to
through the
trust
lab, right?
these tricorders yet. These
Especially a
these
prototype.
ideas.
This is
That,
a
well,
prototype,
of course not.
right?
Obviously, the way that they do it now is the safest way and the best way to get your information
reliable, right?
medicinally.
Because you're going
But
to get
if we-
100%.
But if we don't explore the
Result.
ideas in this way, we'll never
Oh,
actually
no,
get
no,
to
no.
the tricorder.
I'm not saying that. I think it's cool, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying I wouldn't
It
trust
is
it at
cool.
this point.
Well, nobody's actually using.
Yeah,
it in
no,
the medical
it's
field
not
yet.
like reliable medical tech at this point.
No.
But it's
What-
an
what I would
interesting
like to
idea, yeah.
It is because I had what do they call it? A CT scan. Okay. So and they put this like needle in my arm. I still have a mark from it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And it hurt like hell. Sorry to say hell.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then they did 4 tests. One of them they had to put dye in my veins, and the other 3
Okay.
they didn't. Because yeah, I had something really bad happen a few weeks ago. I'm not going to get into it here. I may already made a video on it or
Sure.
live on it. But
We're
yeah,
with you,
when I
man.
was in the hospital and they were doing that, is like, man, what I literally thought this, even though I shouldn't have thought it because I was like in and out of consciousness. Man, what I wouldn't give for some Star Trek medical technology right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
man.
mean, like, you
It'd
get a
be nice,
magic
yeah.
box and you wave it in front of somebody, and you're like, "Hey, he has cancer." Who doesn't want that?
Right, instead of being poked and prodded.
Yes,
you
exactly.
gotta do
That's
this,
the
that,
dream.
Well, the
And you gotta
ultrasound machine
Yeah, I
is
agree.
almost there.
that and sit still for this test. Now, don't move your head, or I'll have to do it again. And it's like, come
And now, the field of radiologists, that medical field is being really complicated because they're finding out computers can do it better than humans who get tired and stuff.
Yeah,
So the doctors are signing off on the AI.
Oh,
Explain that to my $900 bill from radiology.
oh,
They
I'm
need
sorry.
to buy an Alexa.
I'm sorry I missed you leaving, Sandra Feliciano. I'll see you later. See you tonight.
Hi, Sandra.
Maybe
See you, Sandra. Love you.
Take care. Thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Yes, and speaking of which, it is getting close to the time where I've got to close off the live stream.
Oh,
So
Yep,
yeah,
I gotta go.
and just like I thought, we
Ah.
didn't touch half of the devices that we could possibly talk about for this subject. So
yeah, and I
it
probably
could come
missed
up
half
again in
of
the
it.
future.
Hey, Jill, part 2 of Star Trek Tech?
Yeah, at some point, sure. Yeah, I don't
Love
know.
you, Jill.
Maybe when I get 300, I'll do that again.
What are you
Yes.
at now?
300, you do that.
200 and...
Oh,
Oh, you're at
400 rather.
You're at
Yeah, I was going to
343
say
already.
400. There we go. We'll get you there, girl. We'll get you there.
Yeah, 400 is the next goal.
I'm going to give away 25 free memberships to this
And
channel in
so-
the chat right now.
And so then I'll have approximately the same amount of people that Captain Kirk does.
420. 16.
400.
Jill, you're one of the nicest people that I know. Thank you very
Oh.
much for having me on.
You're welcome.
Jill is awesome. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
you
Jill.
guys are
Hey.
so. I'm so grateful you guys came around to talk
Hey.
to me about what your
I
perception
totally
of
agree. I
Star
totally
Trek
agree.
technology.
Jill's such a lovely person.
Yep.
I had a
And-
lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things about Star Trek is how it actually affects us in reality.
I love how much you love Star Trek, and I love how much like your points of view on Trek, because I love Trek and I have my points of
Mhm.
view. But your take is just so refreshing, and I would love to be able to just talk with you sometime about it.
You know what I
Okay,
really appreciate about
definitely.
Jill is as a younger person, she loves it with such a passion.
Yes.
A lot of us original older fans, love it with the same passion, and it's so refreshing, as you say, to see someone much younger that really appreciates all its aspects and loves it so much.
Yes, and I love it so much that I am still talking about it even when it's lost its way. As Matt G mentions here, he just tips $1. He says, "I give Jill big credit for getting through that Picard season 3 review yesterday. I've seen happier people working at a toll booth than Jill was going through that episode, but she did it."
I've seen happier people play the Elephant
what?
Man.
I
Jill.
I
Here,
try
I'm
to
gonna
have a good.
I'm gonna toast you right now. I'm literally putting a beverage to my lips for the fact that you went through that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I try
felt,
to have a good disposition, but it just gets you.
I felt
the
bad for you
dystopia.
last night, Joe, watching that. I was like, oh, poor
Boy,
Joe.
am I excited to live react to this in a little while. I tell you, hearing so many
you're going to have a
fantastic
good time.
things.
And,
I need Stokely to help me before I
You
do
haven't
that.
seen
Dolphin?
episode 2 yet?
No, he hasn't.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and Captain Infinity wants to know when the time machine is coming to market. Well, you're going to have to talk
Wait.
about the replicator and the time machine.
Dude, don't
that
you know the
don't
DeLorean already hit the market?
and left the market.
Everybody should go listen. Bird of Prey 5 is live next.
Oh, yeah, Bird of Prey 5 is live next, but I also need to mention King Dolphin TV is having his 250 subscriber celebration tomorrow. So, but even though he lost 2 subscribers, so definitely join him for that celebration to help him get those 2 back. Maybe get him another
You
7.
know, that's got to be a YouTube thing, because I gained 2 subs and then I lost them like the next
Yeah.
day.
Same
Yeah,
here.
I have 2 in the ether at all times. It goes up and down.
I've been stuck at 345 for 43 for
You know what it
forever.
is? YouTube just doesn't want us to have even numbers. I think
You
it's
know
the
what?
problem with the AI program.
It's
The
probably
AI
something to
doesn't
do with the
like the
algorithm or something, guys.
Do you put your Star Trek reviews on Reddit? Because that'll drive a lot of views.
You know, I thought about that, but I haven't done it. You know, I just it's
You know what?
it's a lot of different social things to be messing around with. So
Yeah.
I do need to get more focused.
What I like about
sharing
Reddit,
it on Reddit and Discord.
just
I
don't
couldn't-
discuss it. Dump it onto the Star Trek thread and abandon it, and you'll get the views. Because you don't want to talk to the people on Reddit. They're going to attack you, but they'll watch it.
Oh yeah,
Yay.
same way with Twitter.
I'm
They'll
okay
watch
with
it,
that.
but they'll attack you all
Yeah.
at the same time. That's
Yeah,
why
I
I
just I don't
I only use
interact with
Twitter.
them.
Yeah, I only use Twitter for like announcing when, like,
You know
when I'm
what?
live or videos, or when somebody else that I like is live.
One of my
That's it.
biggest fears in starting the channel was getting all the trolls, but I actually don't really get that many. It doesn't really happen. So I'm pretty happy. Captain Infinity says, definitely YouTube. I gained 7 and lost 9. They despise small channels and actively suppress you.
I
But
agree with that.
but I don't want to
Wholehearted.
leave on that note. I guess
No. Let's leave on the fact
well,
that it's your anniversary,
not
Jill.
only that,
Thank you for
but
being awesome.
but this live stream itself is a celebration of one of Star Trek's technology is video chat conferencing. Even though we're not videos, we're avatars here, but we could. Admiral Teague was showing us him in video form at one point, and we could put on our video if we wanted to. And that is one of the things that Star Trek popularized is the ability to communicate with each other via video, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun.
Hey,
Yeah,
DJ Ronnie G, you just fixed your mic. I might go live Eastern time around 7 or 8 tonight.
Yeah. So I definitely want to direct everybody to Bird of Prey 5's channel. He's going to have his Bed Life, which is an incredible show. He has a great stream of consciousness. He engages with the chat as if they're really there with him, and I don't know. He's just a lot of he's funny. Also.
He is fun, especially on the end of his Bed Life streams. He does what is it? Where people write in letters, Dear Bop, yes, and that is fun to watch.
Yes, and thank you guys on the panel for helping me out. I'd like you guys to plug your channels or whatever you got going on.
Subscribe to Admiral Teague, your buddy. Right now we have a review of Bridge Too Far up there, which is free on YouTube this month. If you
Bridge
have
Too
premium.
Far?
Yeah, A Bridge Too Far from 1977. It's the last big budget war movie until Saving Private Ryan. And me and Padre have actually been talking about it in the private chat a little.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's very documentary and beat for beat the book, which is by Cornelius Ryan.
And here's your channel. You're at 91 subscribers. That's pretty great. And so we can definitely get you to 100. And I don't see how that's a thing we can't do. We could totally.
Well, of course, the case against it is they've met me, but
well,
I'm your friend, so I mean, she chooses to associate with me freely here, so I got
do.
that. And you know what? I am really lucky for that, and I'm lucky for the encouragement you've given me and for the advice you've given me, and you've been like right there, and you've been really cool and also above it all too. So thank you. You're just in class and a great example to follow.
You're welcome, and I enjoy your videos so far, and I hope to hear more.
Wait till I start reacting to the Starfleet episode, Star Trek episodes. There's some that just beg a response. Like, for instance, I just the rare mistake where it was like that Khan was given access to the computer, but there's like an enabling line of dialogue in there where they're like, anyone can look at this, and it was actually I found it to be a problematic line of dialogue and a problem with the episode.
Yeah, me too. But it is still a really great episode. But at least even with that problem, they explain why Captain Kirk is doing it, because it's allowed apparently in Starfleet. But
they're just showing them as being extremely altruistic, but they look naive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I agree.
The writing motivation was that they're so optimistic. And also, who would figure that Khan could figure out a way to hack your ship and overcome the security devices? Like putting in that there's neural gas and how to hack that system into the library computer that any patient can read. Like, what if a Klingon comes aboard and it's like, I have a headache?
Yeah, that's a great point. Really,
now
that's
that
you forget the line.
Policy.
Now that I'm any patient, I just want to know how your shields work. Hold on.
His is a superior intelligence.
Right. They never figure that he's going to catch up to it. But the fact is, and that's the one thing I will say I hate about Into Darkness is that he's just a very dangerous Romulan. He's super smart and he's like 3 times stronger. Big deal. He's not a real threat to these people like Khan is in the Prime universe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and for more of those streams of consciousness, check out Admiral Teague's channel. It's really fun. Saving Star Trek.
All right, so
Thank
I
you.
see myself on the screen. Is it my turn? Oh,
Yeah, it's your turn. Tell us about your
okay.
channel, please.
Okay, so I am Sci-Fi Nation. Everyone calls me Jay because that's my name. So feel free to call me Jay when you're commenting. I don't mind. Also in a chat if you come check out my live streams. I do a lot of sci-fi stuff, especially Star Trek. Getting into some movies and stuff. I'm gonna be doing a review on The Final Countdown. Great movie from 1980, so check that out when it comes up. Just started a cooking thing because that was requested from people that watch channel. So I have a cooking channel up now as well.
Wow. Okay.
Or well,
cool.
not channel, but video. The first cooking video.
Neat.
So yeah, check me out.
Well, you
if
know,
you like.
nerds and geeks have to eat too.
Exactly. We got to keep our strength up.
Hmm. So that's great. And also here's your channel right here, and you have videos.
Yep.
Oh, there's the
Videos.
cooking video.
There's a cooking video. Yep.
Tater tots.
Oh.
And my
casserole.
newest video is a Spock wig thing that Commodore Boone sent me. Jim's Landscape that I unboxed and showed up.
Wow.
That's cool.
And then you have your live streams that you do whenever you feel like you want to have a live stream, and those are a lot of fun.
Oh yes. As of the last couple weeks, they are more family friendly. I'm toning down,
Oh.
from how they used to get kind of out of control. I'm not doing that no more. Because of what happened a couple weeks ago to me, made me rethink a lot of things. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
That sounds a bit ominous.
Well,
no. It's something for his. It's for his health.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you go to the live stream,
Okay.
stream, Jill, called "Where Have I Been?" I explain what happened. So
Oh,
people
Oh, right. Okay.
Yep. So there is an
Actually-
explanation.
Oh yeah, right there.
Is
That's great.
is there a link for Sci-Fi's channel, Jill? I think I'm probably sub, but there's so many channels I might not.
Yes,
I might
it's
have
right
missed
here.
some.
Subscribe to Sci-Fi Nation.
Oh,
right
great. Okay, let me click on that then. There we go.
here. Yeah.
Oh, I am subscribed already. Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
I just wasn't sure.
Yep, no problem. Thank you,
Speaking-
Jill. I do have to go watch for the little one getting off the bus, so I do
Oh,
have to
okay.
keep going.
Okay, so it looks like we plugged your channel just in time.
Just in time. Thank
I'll
you so
see-
much, Jill. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for hanging out today, Sci-Fi Nation.
You're welcome.
See you next time. And PvP, I know you don't have channel content yet, but do you have anything you'd like to share with us
Well,
before we go?
I'm always uploading. Basically, I'm just uploading albums I really enjoy right now on the music playlists. So check those out because I'm always adding at least a couple every week. As far as plugging anything else, I can't really think of too much, really.
Hmm.
I still have to figure out the whole live stream thing because I really would like to do some live streams eventually, but I still have to figure out the technology. So it might
You want
be
to
a while.
join? You want to be on Saving Star Trek in a little while?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've got so much to do this week, man. I don't.
All right.
Well,
Hey, if you're busy,
maybe.
you're
Hey,
busy. Don't worry about it.
hey. I don't know how you'd send a link anyway. Actually,
I'll throw one in the chat and tear it down later for you.
Okay.
I thought we had a really fun time with episode 1.
okay. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure. I've got so much to do this weekend. I'm not sure. If you want to throw the link, go for it, and I might pop on for a while. No problem.
Well, what it sounds like is if you do have time, just show up during his live stream.
Yeah, I will show up.
She
at some
says
point.
things so much smarter than I am. It's so much. I'm sorry, so much more efficiently than I do.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
where
that is
is-
why on Cloudburn Times channel I've been made communications officer, so I own that.
Yeah, it's just I've actually been thinking lately that I've been spending so much time on YouTube some weekends and not getting as
Mhm.
much stuff done in quote real life as I should be.
Right,
I'm-
that's right.
So
And it is important. yes, our real world lives definitely are
Yeah,
important.
and I do
We
have some
gotta
stuff
we
to
gotta
do.
do our chores and all the things and work and
Exactly, and
stuff.
I've got behind on that, so I do need to do some
Yeah.
chores.
I've been
So
But
kicking
hey,
the can on
please,
Picard for 2 days.
please,
I have to watch it, unfortunately.
actually, if you're going to watch, you're going to actually do a watch party of Picard episode 2.
I'm gonna do it like now. It's coming like right up now. As soon as I get Scogli on there, or if I can get you and start it, because I want it out of the way.
Hey,
So
okay.
okay, I've seen. Okay,
Speaking of
put the link in the chat, and
yeah,
I
but
will.
just show up on his channel whenever he's live, and you
Oh.
guys can talk about that.
Which is
So
happening.
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, right. And Padre, I want to thank you so much for showing up. You were exceedingly intelligent, and I enjoyed what you had to offer in terms of what you knew about Star Trek technology. So thank you for joining me here today.
So Admiral's going to put a
but
link.
he's not around to accept.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you
I'm
are.
listening. I'm listening to everybody else talk.
Oh, okay. Did you have anything you wanted to share with us before we head out?
Jill, I think you're one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, I do try to I accept all opinions, whether I agree with them or not. And it's a lot of fun to hear everything everyone has to say. And so I want to continue doing that with my channel.
Yeah,
talking about all the sci-fi that I like.
So I got nothing.
Okay.
I have no channel. I have I don't suffer stupid people, and you're not a stupid person. So Padre out.
All right. Thank you so much. And I will close off. I don't have closing words yet.
Oh, can I say one thing,
Yes.
Joe, before you go?
Sure.
If Admiral Teague wants to put a link in the private chat quickly, if
I haven't opened up the room yet. I'm gonna do it in about 5
know.
minutes.
That's why I
okay.
keep
I'll just
saying.
go over to your channel then, and we'll try and figure it out from there.
That's
Okay.
right. Thank you,
Sounds
Padre. Bye bye, Padre. I'll see you
Padre
later.
was great.
Yeah,
I'm
bye,
hoping
Padre.
I'm hoping to hook up with him on Twitter and do some
Mhm.
more movie analysis with him.
I
He seemed
enjoyed
open to
everybody.
it.
Everybody in the panel I enjoyed tonight, actually, Joe.
I have to
thought
step away for
everybody was-
just a second before I close out the stream.
Uh-oh.
Just
All right, then I'll just tell everybody. My buddy PvP is known as codename Ringo on Saving Star Trek, and he holds my hand and helps me through the emotional ups and downs of experiencing the show Picard, which I've been. I got drunk last night rather than watch Picard, and I didn't want to stream after I'd been drinking, or I might have gone like a little too far.
Yeah, I had a few while I was watching the Phantasmagorium discussion of it, Admiral, and Jill was holding her own, but I thought Scotty and the other guy on there were kind of a little bit tag teaming up on her a bit,
I have found that the people who like Picard have taken on a bullying and hectoring tone toward those of us who don't, and they're using it as some form of moral superiority.
Yeah.
20% in, this story looks like shit. You guys are out on a limb. It's about time you start tacting towards moderation. And you know what? Low tolerance of frustration is the #1 sign of substance abuse. So if you're getting all angry at people because they have a different take than you, there's these things called mirrors. You don't even have to plug them in.
Well, that's the thing, Admiral. Like Jill was, basically taking our side that, even though she didn't maybe hate it, there were definitely enough flaws where she didn't love it either, right? Like the way I feel. But Scotty, of course, is always cool. He's always kind of like what you like. I mean, Scotty's pretty laid back, but
yeah,
there was another person on the panel, which I won't name, that I was not totally impressed with because, I was putting chat comments in, and if I'd say something that they didn't agree with, I was getting, a little bit of the
yeah, I didn't feel the respect for the audience on some levels, but that is a good podcast, and everyone should listen to that.
Oh, it was really great. It was still
really
fun.
Great. But yeah,
fun.
You know what? I have gotten in trouble because after episode 1 of that, I started talking about meat shielding behind RMB, and that RMB is an imaginary friend. People are using this. RMB likes it as like, although I mean, he made a great movie in Free Enterprise, and we all love it. And he is what he is, and evidence seems to suggest that with mostly production titles and investing in movies, that he wants people to know him as an editor. Because he's not, he edits a lot.
I remember.
Yeah,
Rob was good.
I love Free Enterprise. It's incredible. It's
the editing,
a great movie.
the editing.
It is a great movie. And he is a great YouTuber when he wants to
Axanar-
be in his own right,
Axan-
but he can be adversarial.
Axanar was edited by Burnett, and I thought he did an excellent job on
Right.
the clips
Well,
I saw
the
on
only thing
YouTube.
they actually completed was Prelude to Axanar, and yes,
Yeah.
he did a
No,
great
that's
job
what I
with that.
meant. But the editing on that was very, very
Mhm.
solid, I thought.
But
it-
you know what, though,
it would have been a great
I
movie,
do have
really.
I do have to go, and thank you guys
Yeah.
so much for filling the space while I had to step away. And
You're very welcome.
And
Watch
I will
your
see you guys-
notifications, Ringo. It's going to be going live soon.
Yes,
Okay, I'll head over to your channel shortly then, Admiral.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And
Anyway,
so
so-
I will
Thank you.
see you guys later. Thank you for hanging
Thank
out with
you
me.
for having me.
I
Yeah,
will
thanks
play-
for letting us join. We always
Congratulations.
enjoy
It's
being here.
It's a real honor to be part of the anniversary stream.
It is, and congratulations again on your anniversary, Joel.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, thank you, rather. I meant to say. But also, I'll be playing a few videos to close this out. I'll
Cool.
see you guys next time. See you Friday Night Frolics tonight if you show up on Doomcock's stream, or right now on Bird of Prey 5 or Admiral Teague or whoever's going live.
I advise to go to Bird of Prey 5. Listen to me
Yeah.
later. Listen to me later.
Yeah. Yeah, I advise Bird of Prey 5 too.
But listen to me.
Bye.
Okay, bye, guys.
Captain's log, stardate 3417.3, Omicron Ceti 3. We had expected to find no survivors. These people shouldn't be alive.
Is it possible that they're not?
This is Layla Kalomi, our botanist.
Lieutenant, put me through to Admiral Comac in Starfleet.
Oh, I'm sorry, Captain. I can't do that.
I said get back to your station.
No, sir.
This is mutiny, mister.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Spock,
Yes, what did you want?
we're evacuating.
No, I don't think so.
You mutinous, disloyal, computerized half-breed. We'll see about you deserting my ship.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to one of your original questions. What was so good about what did Star Trek do right? And Andrea Kindred was, I think, the executive assistant to Gene Kuhn on the original show. And I recently got to interview her, and she said something that I think was so important. Someone asked her, what was the best thing about Star Trek? And she said, it was entertaining. So it allowed a huge number of people in to listen to new ideas and concepts. I wish some shows remembered the entertaining part.
Yeah.
You do need to welcome people in.
Yeah.
You know, I really wish they'd let us play music up here. Make these long trips go by a lot faster.
It's against regulations.
Yeah, I never understood that.
They just don't want us having a dance party when a proximity alert goes off.
See, that's a dumb reason. Because we'd already be on our feet, ready for action.
It's a goddamn weird ass place we work in, let me tell you.
Now you're sounding like Spock. If you're gonna get nasty, I'm gonna leave.